Hope you got into it proper. Unfortunately, we saw quite a number of things over the weekend that we should not have.
True.
That somebody was shot, why are we still doing that? That there was violence, that there were goons, why are we still doing that? You know, one of the things that the good lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi says is, you know what? If you have goons that are able to operate with such wanton abandon in different parts of the country, then you cannot be too far if you say that these are actually sponsored by the state.
Yep.
He said that time and time again, and I just looked at his ex-post yesterday when he continued to say that, and it's necessary for us to come to that realization. As we get into the conversation today, thank you for tuning in. These are some of the things that we'll be looking into. Want to tell you where you're tuned in from around the country. 102.5 in Kisumu, 87.9 in Mombasa, 90.9 in Njeri. Oi, who is that? I'm doing something. 90.9 in Njeri, and as we get into Nairobi, 94.4, of course, 96.0 in Nakuru, 96.7 in Eldoret, and 97.6 in Malindi. Good morning, everybody. Karibuni sana. And a good morning to our audience on KTN today. Thank you for being here. As we get into it, our live stream has disappeared. Amma, what are we doing? I was about to tell people that our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you tell me if I'm lying. Okay, our live streams are actually up, and a very good morning to everybody as you get into things this morning. Always lovely to have you in the room, and thank you for being here with us today. All right, let me tell you what our conversations are going to look like as you get into it. We start at about 7 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, we'll start with the conversations around how we see things over the last couple of days, and it's not fun. I'm not very happy with what we saw yesterday, that people, anyway, Game Plan 2027, campaigns, attacks and negotiations. Stella Agara is the governance and security analyst, and Javas Bigambo is a political strategist. They'll both join us at 7 o'clock for that conversation. Lessons from Olkalau. Evans Ogada is an advocate. What it means for Kenya's electoral future, coming in from Olkalau. I mean, everybody's landing in Olkalau like it's, the new kid on the block. I guess in this case it might be.
Yeah.
Questions that are being asked about then what does this mean then moving into the future, right?
I guess the difficult question for me is, do they really care about the people? Do they really care about the people? That today we are seeing GOK mattresses for the very first time. Oh my God.
Yeah, you didn't know that they existed?
I didn't know. But
do.
One asked the question, even as we have GOK mattresses, the parents who are being given the GOK mattresses, when you took your child to school, did you have to buy a mattress? So if there are GOK mattresses, you have GOK mattresses that can be given to wananchi, then perhaps every student in the country should have GOK mattresses as they go to school. As an assurance of affordable, accessible, and quality education. It is an ecosystem, my friend.
Absolutely. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of, today is not the last day of campaigns? I think it is.
Today, yeah.
Today's the last day of campaigns. You'll see drama. It's just going to continue. So what we're being told. There's a gentleman, I believe an elderly gentleman, I think his name was James, who called us on Friday, and he said, you guys, you know what? I have lived in this country long enough, but then for us to understand that if this is evidence, or rather this is an indicator of what we are going to see going into the future, then we ought to be really worried. Yes, that's what he actually brought up. EVE, I was lying. I don't see that live stream. Maybe you can point me in its direction, but we'll see from you in just a minute how we can say hello to you. We'll talk. Let us know where you're tuned in from this morning and getting into the Situation Room. Dennis Aseto, Okoh with you today, and let's get into it proper. I don't know where you're taking us this week.
Today, we are in a country that has sweet crude.
I thought you were going to say sweet banana.
No, sweet crude.
Sweet crude must be Libya.
You're smart. You're smart. So it is a country that is 1.76 million square kilometers and the fourth largest country in the continent. When you talk about Libya, you can't help but to remember what the country was before what it is today, where education was free, where healthcare was free, housing was almost next to nothing. The most expensive thing in Libya at the time when Muammar Gaddafi was there was water. Why? Because water is limited in the country because it's predominantly more of a desert. you know. But you look at the geopolitics that took place during the time and what that did to Libya. It has never recovered, even as we speak today. We talk about Strait of Hormuz being closed. Imagine you have a country that has sweet crude, where if we all just put our heads together, perhaps we would be saying that we don't need anything that gets outside this continent.
Tunataka kuambiana ukweli.
The
truth of the matter is that because of the kind of
yes,
because of the kind of crude that Libya has,
yes,
that you then the refinery process is shorter.
Yeah.
Because it is sweet and smooth, you don't have to refine it as much as you would the other kinds. And this is the most sought after crude in the world. Now, if you control the crude, you control so many things. And they called Gaddafi a strong man for so long, but truth of the matter is that he did not yield to them wanting to control.
Yep.
And so they took him out.
Yeah.
And that's why Libya is no longer where it was. Look at a country whereby there was free education until university.
Yeah.
And even at the university level, it was highly subsidized by government. Look at where they actually had an affordable housing program, where they had health.
Working affordable housing.
Yes.
Working healthcare. Working education system.
Kama tunaanza wiki tukiambiana ukweli,
ni vizuri.
They took him out because he was a model for how it can actually work and work well in Africa. Plus, they had the resources which they wanted to control.
Yeah. And he was that model that Africa needs to look at. Because remember, one thing he was saying is that we need to have that united Africa, United States of Africa, right? And also pushed for the African currency to be backed by gold. What that would have meant is that Africa would be having the strongest currency in the world today.
Yep.
So just down the memory lane. But let's go to the proverb that we get from the people of Libya. Now, utapenda. Utapenda sana.
Okay.
If you have me, you want to share me. If you share me, you don't have me.
Oi. Okay.
If you have me, you want to share me. If you share me, you don't have me.
My brain is not on. Somebody forgot to put on the switch in my brain this morning. Yikes.
If you have love, you want to share love. Why? Because it brings peace. But if you have love and you want to share it with people who don't deserve it, then you don't have it.
Then you don't have it. I think about that famous saying that says, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it was yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours to begin with. Yeah, so I guess that you can share. If you have it, you share it. If you don't share it, if you have it and you don't share it, then you actually don't have it. I guess that's the way to look for it, because I guess one of the things about love is patient, it's kind, it's giving, and all of those things. Wow, that's a proverb where we can actually be on the softer side of things this morning, methinks. Okay. Yes, I like. All right. A good way to start. The things that we see being doled out, are they from a place of, I mean, come on, we can talk about it being too soft or being too sensitive. But the truth of the matter is that, you know what, I just thought it dropped a couple of rungs yesterday with the violence that we saw. You know how you can expect something, but then you don't really expect it. Rather, you expect something, but that you hope that it doesn't go that way. That's what I was hoping for over the weekend. Yeah. That even when there were these meetings and you said, okay, I expect that somebody's going to try and do something stupid. And that when you hear Raymond Omolo saying, no, don't go to church and make these statements, then I said, okay, these things are being said, but my hope is that nobody's stupid. But then guess what? They were stupid. People went to attack others in church. Irungo Kangata's driver is shot.
At a rally that was peaceful.
Bows and arrows. I mean, come on. Are we in Sherwood Forest and Robin Hood?
Yeah, I was shocked that even people in Nyanza know how to hold bows and arrows. Hey. I thought you guys were spear or whatever.
As in,
I'm like, what the hell?
Somebody...
And imagine, you know, Nduh. We live in a country where
Robin Hood, bow and arrow. Sherwood Forest, Nottingham Forest, bow and arrow. I mean, for God's sake.
And imagine those people walked with bows and arrows from their houses all the way to where they were.
In the street.
So one asks the question, you want to tell me that entire street? There was no police officer. There was no one to report that matter. They just showed up. Those people just fell. They just fell with paragliders. They just fell on that street that morning.
Man.
And you want to tell us that we are here to ensure that such things don't happen. Wanna go sit in the corner.
Come on, go and sit down, I beg. Because no, it was a very poor showing.
No.
And then we just chest thump and talk. Kaba. No. Yeah. Every day we come here and we say, we can do better, but then we just keep doing worse.
Yeah.
Come on. Maybe it's that day where we just call it out.
Let's call it out.
Yeah, and call it out and say, no, we can
Let's call it for what it is.
Because these people who went to go and collect bow and arrow and machete and all of those things, where did they get them from?
Yeah.
I keep saying, you know what, it's studied actually. People have written books about it, that the business of conflict is not cheap. That somebody is putting their money and little bitsy mind behind this thing. That because see,
let me tell you, the person who's behind all this, let's just to call him for who he is. You are a loser, man.
No, for real.
You are a loser. Like, you don't even deserve to sit anywhere and have a conversation with anyone because you clearly have nothing to offer other than violence.
How low have we sunk?
Yeah.
Whereby the best thing to do is then to be able to instill fear and cause anxiety and
because of
cause
elections.
Injurious harm because of an election.
Because of an election.
Where you might lose.
Yeah.
Even if you win, do you want that?
Do you want that?
On your shoulders?
How do you go back and tell the very same people that you hired that we're finally bringing in security, yet you are the source of insecurity?
How do you sleep at night?
How do you sleep at night? When someone has been shot, when someone is burying their loved ones?
Hapo ndo tunaanza leo asubuhi tena. But let's say hello to people. And I know that you're tuned in, and I know our live stream was doing a bit of a thing, but we're back on now. Karibuni sana. Thank you for being here. We'll start off with Robert Mbogo, who's tuning from Mombasa this morning. And Beatrice Omanwa says, good morning, watching from Dallas in Texas. Good morning to you, Beatrice. Eric Yoga says, good morning, SpiceFM. My heart is heavy here in Kisumu. It's turning to Haiti. Did you hear relief food was found in her father's residence? Her. Okay. Just Nature says, bonjour, Spicy family, listening live from Westlands. You guys have a successful week. Asante sana. We've seen the hashtag. Daniel Churro says, a disturbing weekend filled with the usual political shenanigans and violence. Many of us were here during the 0708 electoral chaos. Now it's far much worse if nothing is done soon to stop this madness. And I'm right. I don't care. Call me sensationalist. But if it's okay for people to be wielding these crude weapons in the street on a Sunday afternoon, it doesn't matter, any day of the week, but that you can do that with people just watching. No. You're already down the slippery slope, folks. Call it what you want. It's no big deal. It's a big deal.
Remember, there's a time when we sat here and we saw goons on the streets with the batons, and we were like, you know what, that will be dealt with. What are we talking about today? People are arming themselves with spears, bows, and arrows.
Bow and arrow.
You know, if you look at the trajectory, we were from people carrying stones. Then they graduated to batons. Now they're having bows, arrows, and spears. What exactly are we doing? Are we just sitting here and looking at things getting worse, and we're here saying,
no big deal, it's okay, it was just one day. Nope. And what are we saying here? I'm going to say it very clearly. You have security agencies who are tasked with the responsibility of making sure something like this does not happen or arresting the situation when it does. And they are standing by like people who've gone to the beach. Nope. I don't care who it was or who instigated it. Do something about it. But we're allowing it.
OCPD, OCS Kisumu, man, you guys need not to be in office. This is not a situation where anyone is transferred. Individuals who bear the responsibility, including the county commanders, because they're in charge of security in these regions, they need to give us answers as to why that happened in their locals and not just in Kisumu. Let's go to Olkalau. What happened in Malava? These are individuals who should be interdicted today because they failed at their duties. We need to call a spade a spade.
Very simply so. Okay. So a very good morning to you, G. Kenyon, in the beginning, good morning from Nairobi. Very good morning to you. Dr. Venvik is also tuned in and says, good morning, my people. Good morning to you. Mashari and Njeri is tuned in from Portland in Oregon and say, Kenya is Goonland of Africa. That's what it looks like. Isaac Ale says, Kenyan politics this weekend had everything. Roadblocks, rallies, alliances, denials of alliances, and politicians condemning the chaos. Seem like family WhatsApp group after inheritance is mentioned. Ha ha! Rose Grace says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. Where is this country, Kenya, headed to? Jamani, very sad. Blessed week ahead. It is sad. And we call it out as it is. We're going to keep saying, come on, you cannot deal like this. And since we have the opportunity to talk, heck, then let's talk.
Let's talk.
Next, Nalika says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. Indeed, you have made made me a morning person. Keep informing the nation. Asante sana. Oh, we love all the good morning people. Nyandika says, how come your audio on any radio streaming app is this horrible? How horrible? Are you hearing us? It must not be that horrible then. Wanda says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto from Toronto. Good morning. Aseto, your blazer is fire. You look too smart. Too smart. I have a quick question. Do you believe that power activity reduces one's morals over time? Thinking of Lindsey Graham. I don't know. It really depends how you get in. How you get in is how you're going to operate and how you're going to get out. It depends on your mindset, really, and why you were there in the first place.
It depends with the original push
What
as
was
to
your
why
intention?
you wanted to get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What
If
was your
intention
intention?
was to just be one mistake, then that's exactly who you're going to be.
Yeah,
because we've seen good leaders out here.
there are good leaders,
There are
and
good
I think that's
leaders
the thing
out
that we can't do. That we can't blanket everybody and say that all of you are one mess. That there are people who are good. Unfortunately, it just takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch.
Yep.
Unfortunately. All right, a very good morning to you. Tuned in this morning is Mutuflani. Happy New Week to the Princess Sir Shut Up and the squad. Watching from Gunistania. Hey, you guys, when we were making noise here, All Saints Cathedral, CBD, closing down businesses, you didn't remember that those goons now in the whole thing were doing push-ups.
Yep.
Now is when they're performing for the audience. They're now performing properly for the gallery, but it doesn't look good at all. So Bernard Ogamba says, Ogamba Onyangondi is tuned in from Nairobi. Aseto,
Yes.
That is more a riddle than a proverb. I expected you to end with who am I, who I am. Okay, it's a proverb actually, if you think about it. John Murray says, don't call them goons, they're terrorists, they're criminals. I agree.
Yes.
Goons is kind of like the guy on the side of the area boys. Yes, okay, they too they're criminals. They're criminals, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Eric Orr says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. Drift Session is tuned in. It says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. We are in the pits. In the video, the standard headlines is taken from, you can see a young man brandishing a machete against the tarmac. I saw that in 2007.
I saw that
Very
as well.
scary. Yes,
Eldoret.
we did. Drawing on the tarmac with a machete.
Yes.
Anybody who crosses this line, we deal with you.
Let me tell you, Nduh. In Eldoret during the 2007-2008 post-election violence in the supermarkets in Eldoret, guess what was being bought in masses? Machetes. What were they going to do with them? Because I remember at the time when my father and I went to a supermarket in town, and there was even a poster. We are not selling two things, batons and pangas. During that time. Yet this is what we're seeing here today.
Oh my God. Yikes. Okay. All right. Peter Chiari says, good morning. The real luxury of life is time, peaceful mornings, and the freedom to choose how you spend your days. Indeed, it is. Mutuflani is saying, Luos with bows and arrows, hata mimi nilishuaga kisogo.
Exactly, because they don't move like that. They don't move like that.
Hey, Connect says, good morning, Nduh and Deno, watching from Masalani. Where is that? Interested to know where that is. Nashon Gugi says, good morning, Nduh and Dennis. We've been failed as a country from the top appointing authority. We need names and arrests of the politicians. We are tired of the investigation stories all the time. Yeah, me too. Oh, we're investigating, we're looking into it. Nah, blah, blah, blah.
We never finished investigating Okoh's situation.
Till tomorrow.
But now we don't want investigations, we want arrests.
No. They were on TV. You saw their faces.
Yeah.
You can tell who they are.
Exactly.
And I keep saying that. You say, and people say, what do you want the security officers to do? I want them to do what they did when here in Mkuru kwa Jenga, when bodies were found in Quarry, within 24 hours, a young man had been arrested and they found 43 SIM cards with I don't know how many phones in his house. They found that really quickly. That is what do you want me to? That is what I want you to do, especially since these individuals whose faces were on camera
during the day.
If we saw them, you did too.
Thank you.
That, and you have the intelligence, we do not. So stop it. When we say what do you want them to do, your job.
If we could find people who killed a member of parliament, Ongondowere, we can find individuals. Remember, he was killed at night. We were able to piece up that story. These individuals where you have the footage with you. What else do you want?
We have to ask. Jimmy Monuthi says, good morning. It's been a cold weekend. Police, goons, police, church. I cry for my country. We are tithering on a dangerous road. Christine Wasonga says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto, tuned in from Chicago. Good morning to you. How cowardly have we become? How weak have we become that a few terrorists have decided our fate? How spineless? These are the questions that John Moravi is asking. Joe Mungai is tuned in from Washington and says, Jamboni, goonism is a problem of a goonified legislature and other arms of the government. Can we have a law barring carrying guns and crude weapons in public gatherings? Nyakundi's Emmanuel is asking, Nduh and Aseto, which good morning are we talking about? Goons everywhere. And statement from police covering this. We went to Haiti for benchmarking. Yani, you guys are waiting to greet each other. Isaac Ale and Mutuflani. Rascador says, good morning, my people. What we saw yesterday in Kisumu and Nyahururu was total nonsense. Mr. Rudo, are you around, sir, and watching this? Nisawa too. Tim Smuge says, good morning, SpiceFM. Sifuna, Orengo, Omolo, Gashagwa, police and goons happenings in Kenya. That's what it looks like. Paul Olaka says, good morning and tuned in. Do we still have a country? I remember the question in 2022. In whose hands are we safe? Christina says, good morning. Good morning to you. Stephen Nganga says, good morning. The opposite of goon is? Good question. Gekota says, good morning, my people. Princess Nduh, Dennis, and EVE. Something must be wrong with you when you're given a handout to harm your fellow countrymen. Shame on you. Watching from Miami in Florida. They were also brandishing machetes on the tarmac during the Rwandese genocide. That is true. Rwandan genocide, I beg your pardon. Michael Olande says, good morning, and Isaiah is tuned in. Aseto, you are being wasted in the standard group. Quit, please. Isaiah, what we need you to do is leave the chat, and we'll make sure that you do that. I'm not messing with anybody this morning. And we're going to stop that. EVE, we're going to stop it this morning. All right? Osana Emily says, good morning. Ruto said he would be here for the next 30 years. He's working towards that with terrorists. Good morning. Eric Moy says, good morning. In 2024, we did protest. They called us criminals, but now goons with pangas, arrows. You will hear someone saying that they were going hunting. You guys we're going to have conversations.
Isaiah, you need to take a chill pill, man. Take some coffee, some tea. If you need some, come, I'm going to offer.
Those are we're going to look into the air and look into the skies this morning, and then we'll come back and look into the headlines. We're going to have conversations, but we're going to do those with sense.
Yes.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning, and we'll see a high of 23 and a low of 15. It's currently partly cloudy at 13. It's 15 and sunny looking into Nakuru, and 15 and cloudy looking into Njeri. 20 and partly cloudy in Kisumu, and Kakamega is partly cloudy at 16. 22 in Mombasa, and 25 in a partly sunny Malindi. It's 19 and sunny in Marsabit, and 18 and clear in Kampala. It's 21 and sunny in Dar es Salaam, and Johannesburg is cloudy at 7. 26 and mostly clear in Lagos, and 17 and cloudy into London. 32 and mostly sunny in Beijing, and it's clear skies Sunday nights in New York at 24.
Chilled Spice. Spice up your life. Traffic.
All right, so what are we looking at in terms of traffic this morning? It is already starting to build up in certain parts of the city, looking into Nairobi, and of course taking in from what's happening in different parts of the country as well. The Thika Superhighway, very crazy, coming in all the way from Matt, Roiro interchange, coming down past Githurai, and then out towards Kasarani. It's going to slow down again as you get towards the Pangani underpass. We're also looking at traffic on North Airport Road today, in and outbound traffic through towards Embakasi, and then out towards Mombasa Road. It's going to slow down some as well, so we're looking at some hold up there, but it's morning traffic. Everybody's getting where they need to go this morning. On Gong Road, also coming through towards the city centre, has a build up as well. We're watching out for that, and we're going to keep things moving regardless. Let's see what it looks like as the day develops. We'll talk SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Hii Julai, toa baridi na bei chini, burudani juu kwenye Star Times. Usikose Sura ya Pili, simulizi ya ziada. Mwanamke aliyetelekezwa na mumewe Sam na kujikuta akikabiliwa na maamuzi magumu. Je, atabaki na kupigania ndoa yake au ataondoka na kuanza ukurasa mpya wa maisha? Jiunge na waigizaji Anita Wawuda, Gibson Hausa, Michael Saruni, Ivy Wanjiku na Jovial kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa saa 2 kamili kwenye Rainbow TV. Pata aerial decoder kwa shilingi 1399 tu na dish decoder kwa shilingi 2499 pekee. Jiunge leo katika maduka yetu kote nchini Kenya. Bonyeza *858# kurenew subscription yako na kuenjoy offer ya kupata upgrade to the next high bouquet valid till 31st July. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Looking for convenience, variety, and speed all in one place? Welcome to Digger Shop, the official e-commerce platform by Standard Group PLC. From the latest electronics and fashion must-haves to home essentials and unique Kenyan crafts, we've got it all. And guess what? Enjoy countrywide delivery within 48 hours straight to your doorstep. Shop smart, shop secure, and shop with confidence. Visit shop.digger.co.ke. That is shop.digger.co.ke. Digger Shop. Dig it, shop it, love it.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so let's take a look into the headlines this morning. We'll start on Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. Madness of a nation. Couldn't agree more. The country is teetering on the edge as goons take over the streets. Political violence is becoming the new normal, with armed gangs attacking opposition leaders and disrupting their meetings. Those charged with safeguarding the nation's security, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen and PS Raymond Omolo, stand accused of critics of allowing politics to overshadow their constitutional duty to protect life and property. President William Ruto has remained conspicuously silent. Unless decisive action is taken, the country risks a complete breakdown of law and order. If you thought we were joking about the bows and arrows, there they are on the front page of The Standard. These are people. Did they just wake up? Who are they going to attack? Did they just decide that they were going to go into this church where there were certain people who had come to attend a church service where they did a fundraiser? The driver of Murang'a Governor Irungu Kangata is the person in the inset there. He was shot yesterday. There are goons inside church. Vehicles have been destroyed. I mean, it is becoming the new normal. It's becoming the new normal, and we're sitting and watching this thing spiral out of control.
Do you realize that conversations people are having, as just a by the way, is that goons has become a common thing in our communities today? That we no longer feel afraid talking about what it is we see. That at any political rally, you expect goons to be there. At any demos or protests, you expect goons to be there. It has become a common thing to us.
That this is normal, or that it's being normalized, is a very scary place to be, Aseto. I don't think we...
I don't...
When you see a state in conflict, you don't want to get there, because the absence of peace is a very terrible place to be in. The fact alone that these individuals who were out yesterday, having been paid by whom in whatever way, shape or form, went home and slept in their beds last night is an indicator to you that the laxity with which this security issue is going to be dealt with is a very worrisome place to be in.
Did you see these people march on the street?
I did now. That's what I'm telling you. It was drama.
These people are many. But then again,
for how much?
And for how much?
How much does it even matter? Even if it was 1 million shillings, how much was it enough for you to come and say, I'm going to cause harm to somebody else to fulfill a particular agenda?
You know, I'm asking today Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen and PS Raymond Omolo and all security agencies in Kisumu County or even in Nyahururu where Irun Kangata was being attacked. One asked the question, Nduh, where you have opposition leaders in a church and you expect crowds to be there. Intelligence and common sense demands that you deploy security to protect individuals who are there. Because already you've seen you've seen how things have happened before where these individuals are. That there is no police officer, there is no deployment to safeguard property and protect life. Where were the police?
Right there.
Where were the police?
Dennis, they were right there. This is my problem. They were right there. Do you know, I would have maybe I would be less angered, or anybody would be less angered if they were far away and then you would say, okay, it took them a hot minute to get there, right? They were right there. So what?
We're knocking on the doors of anarchy.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing.
We're going to continue with this because it's going to be part of our conversation at 7 o'clock. But if we look into the pages really quickly of the Standard today, price of survival, how cancer is driving families into poverty and debt. We spoke about this really briefly on Friday, but that's the case because it's very expensive. It's not just the person who gets ill, but it's because it's so expensive and the care and treatment is quite intensive that everybody gets involved in this.
Yeah.
Now, if you are, fetish in nature, you might be worried about the story on page 3.
Yep.
Invasive crows land in Nairobi. Crows, the birds,
Yeah.
those ones.
They call the Indian something.
These were actually ravens.
Yeah.
These black ones are ravens. The crow is the bird with the white chest.
Yes.
These ones, the ones that make noise, actually came on a ship many, many years ago, and they refused to go back. After decades confined to the coast, the destructive birds have been spotted around City Stadium in Nairobi. Conservationists warn swift action is needed before the invasive species establish breeding populations inland. Indian house crows spotted, well, that's another name for them.
Yeah.
Indian house crows spotted in Mombasa yesterday, but they've also been spotted in Nairobi. 1891, the Indian house crows introduced to Zanzibar as urban waste control. 1947, first recorded presence inside the port of Mombasa. 1980, spread south to Diani and north to Kilifi Creek. 2011, first major inland breach observed at Voi Town along the highway corridor. And in 2013, sightings confirmed in Makindu, indicating movement through Savo. They've been allowed to come up north, or west in this case, and it's not good. They've been allowed to come in west, and it's not a good thing. So conservationists are saying, deal with it now. Do you need to cull large flocks, or what do you need to do?
I need to take you back to 1891, where they were introduced in Zanzibar as urban waste control.
Yes.
Hapo kwa urban waste control. Then think about Nairobi and why they have found their way to Nairobi. Every day we keep on saying, please clean the city. Every day we keep on saying, there is something you can do with the waste in Nairobi, including what? Production of fertilizer and production of energy. But because people don't listen, because people sit in these high offices and think that they are protected. Look at exactly what it is we're dealing with
So
today.
I'm hearing you saying that Nairobi is just trash.
It is not me. It is not me.
It's the birds.
The birds are telling you that. If you look at the story, there's a scientist who was actually making comments on this, and he was actually saying that these things have been spotted where waste is.
It's rife. True. I can't argue with that.
You get?
Yeah.
So it is not even me saying. The birds are telling you that Nairobi is a filthy city.
It's like that white bird of mine, Loco Pango.
Loco Pango.
When you see Loco Pango, you know that it's going to rain.
Bas.
Now, when you see these ones, you know that it's dirty.
Capish?
Nature will always tell you a
They will
story.
always tell you something. Yes.
You are right, in fact.
So we go back to 1891. Now we are in 2020.
6.
Same problem.
Bas. Yeah. You're onto something there, that's for sure. Ukrainian database names 59 Kenyans killed in the Russian war. Hello? Okay. Are we just going to go over that? I'm going to say it again. Ukrainian database names 59 Kenyans killed in the Russian war. Okay.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who is also Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary, you went all the way to Russia and you had conversations with the Kremlin.
Yes.
Question, what are the results? Kenyans who went there, what have you done to return them back home?
Nothing.
Ukrainians are telling us 59 Kenyans are dead. These people have their families, right? So we were talking about 59 families plus who are today, first, they don't know where their loved ones are because the bodies are not here. So
Do you, as a Mofa, know that 59 Kenyans are dead?
No.
Well, you were in Western telling us about, I don't know, who cannot win an election.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking. Patients demand answers over expired ARVs, as they should. I mean, for crying out loud. But I have a question. You knew it was expired then, Uka? Anyway.
You know the way you go and you're given and you believe and trust that what you've been given is good. Okay, we've not yet gotten to a culture where you look at the expiry date.
Yeah.
Maybe you and I will look at that, right?
Yes.
But there are many who believe and trust that which they've been given from a hospital is good.
You would.
Now, we still have people in offices, despite giving Kenyans expired medicine. Even the Tuko.
Can you imagine?
And they're still procuring and still stocking.
No, somebody is waking up and going to that office today. As per, you have given people expired medication that is essentially supposed to sustain their life. But this is in circulation. When did we start reading this story? We started making fun about it 2 weeks ago. We were even making fun about it and I don't know what. But we're still, can you imagine? In what warped world are we still talking about that story 2 weeks later and somebody's still waking up and going to work?
Yeah.
Somebody still has the job that is supposed to vanguard this particular situation.
Guess what they're still doing? They're still procuring and they're still stocking the very same hospitals.
Please. Odor of distress. How pollution, climate stress are producing a foul smell in Lake Victoria. Doesn't get any better. Ruto succession. The Speaker of the Devil. Without ANC, Mudavadi faces tough choices. Really?
Face even tougher.
Protecting children online. Are social media regulations already falling behind? Yes. That's the answer to that story. That's an analysis on page 10 and 11 of the Standard. Joseph Lister Nyaringo is on the op-eds today. United Nations Charter should be amended to reflect global face. Okay, and that's what we're looking at today. In terms of some of the stories making headlines. Get yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper. And of course, into the sports pages. Norway rode out that lovely match. Row your boat.
You're rowing home.
They're rowing home. But I have to say, if you were going to give a team of the tournament, I would have to go to Norway, that's for sure. And of course, led by Erling Haaland. And if we're looking at other tournaments that took place, Wimbledon just came to a close with, of course, the women's championships was on Saturday. Yannick Sinner beat the German Zverev in 4 sets yesterday. 3 out of 4 they played for, and he was the Wimbledon champion. And of course, we're going to the semis of the World Cup into this week. Who will lift the trophy?
Yep.
That's what we're looking at. Over to you, sir.
Let's go to the Daily Nation real quick now. Moment of truth for Uhuru Ruto, 7 trillion shillings loans. Now, the Kenya Kwanza government has launched a fresh bid to hold proceedings in a landmark constitutional case challenging the legality of 6.95 trillion shillings in public debt, with Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi and Attorney General Dorcas Oduor filing fresh applications to stop hearing scheduled for October. October. That story has been elaborated in page 4. So it is a question that is being petitioners seek declaration that debt, including Eurobond loans, is illegal. You see what is being pushed by one Jimmy Wanjigi about Odia's debt? Happened you took Kosasa. But the government is seemingly pushing to have that case not being listened or heard. Now, lobbies want Utumishi Girls barred from reopening Dome. Now, Melin Wetheran now says dormitory was partially destroyed by fire in which 16 students died. So they want that dormitory not to be opened. Now, Kim wins first round in a fight against closure. So that is the Kenya Institute of Management as well that is fighting against its closure. And round 1 of the battle, wameshinda.
Yeah.
Sawa. Painful lessons on mixing politics with business. So that is wealthy business figures bankroll campaigns in anticipation of access to lucrative government contracts and tenders. And that is the image of Mary Wambui, the owner of Glee Hotel. And remember, she just lost position of Glee Hotel and now is under administration from Equity Bank. Now, moment of truth for Uhuru Ruto over 7 trillion shillings has been well elaborated on page 4. Now, Thoke Dam completion. Listen. Thoke Dam completion shelved again.
Please, if I talk now, they'll say my mouth is too big.
President Ruto promises to complete the project, which started over 10 years ago. He says it will be ready by April next year, in 6 months' time.
Stop it. It was supposed to be ready in April this year, May this year.
Yeah, so April next year. So just give it extra 11 months, eh? Yeah, talk it down.
Why?
In 6 months' time. Now, the beta campaigns for all Kalau seat officially end today, so we see that. And the Linda Mwananchi gatherings attacked in Nyahururu, Kisumu. Nauliza swali. Nauliza kama mtu mwenye ni kama sielewi.
Okay.
We have 2 sides that are campaigning, right?
In all Kalau?
We have
you have
like
10 candidates, boy.
We have 10 candidates, right? Let's go for the 3 horses or 4.
Okay.
Why is it that we only see violence when it is one side campaigning? When it is the other side, I don't want to mention which, everything seems to be flowing freely and smoothly. Who is funding these individuals who are coming in to disrupt what would be peaceful campaigns? It's a question that IEBC should ask and police should ask or must ask. And in that, you will get your sir. Goons will cost you the ballot, IEBC boss warns.
Who is he warning? Sorry.
That is your friend.
Why am I shouting?
Chairperson Erasa's Ethicon says candidates found sponsoring political violence risks fines removal from the ballot.
Okay.
Samahani, mteja wa nambari uliyopiga hapatikani kwa sasa. Hapo ndio tuko. Hebu tuangalie tu style because mimi nitakasirika. You're warning.
Who are you warning?
Who are you warning?
You're still warning 2 days before. Stop it.
You're warning yet people are being shot with rubber bullets. You're warning.
Meanwhile, you talked about this. I just want to say a big shout out to the Kenya under-17 girls qualified for the FIFA World Cup. So that was definitely a stellar performance against South Africa.
Against who?
South Africa.
Oh.
Sorry, South Africa.
Oh, it happened?
Yeah.
So now they're being ferried back home. Okay.
Why new Sacco bill has raised great interest. Wave of panic swept through Kenya's financial bedrock. The bill that we're talking about was whether perhaps the money that you've saved can actually be put into the infrastructure fund. So now that one, everybody's having problems. Violence rocks Linda Mwananchi event in Kisumu. That headline is interesting. Perhaps, that look at that whole crowd of people. I'm telling you that police were standing there. How are police dressed? Is this not a policeman? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Standing with these individuals who are brandishing these weapons.
Let me say it in the people in Kisumu so that they can Achiel, Ario, Adek, Angwen, police officers.
Koso. Lost. So then you want to tell me what? They're looking at them or what? It's like let's take a picture. Kai, God, no. We're going to 7:00. Ruto to Kalonzo. I won't abandon Ukambani, even if you can't join me. Okay. And board CEOs face exit as MPs push to abolish state agencies. How about MPs actually do their job? Dangote, you know who that is? Dangote has said that 2 trillion shillings Lamu refinery faces activist opposition. Okay, it's not him that has said, but his 2 trillion shilling Lamu refinery plan faces activist opposition.
Yeah, that was saying environmental.
Yeah, save the environment, koso. It's okay. That one will definitely be looked into for sure.
Don't worry.
They've already signed the paperwork. New U.S. Ebola patient will not be treated in Kenya, just in case you were wondering. Yes. Atuna time bana. Anyway, there's a new American Ebola patient. Where are they? They're not in Nini?
DRC.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Spice up your life. Spice FM. Nakuru. Traffic.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembur. The National Police Service has confirmed that 1 person was killed, several others injured, and 9 motorcycles torched during violence that erupted in Kisumu on Sunday. NPS spokesperson Mushiri Nyaga said preliminary investigations indicate the clashes involved 2 rival groups, prompting police to intervene and restore order. 8 suspects have been arrested and are awaiting arraignment, while efforts to trace others are ongoing. The police condemned the violence, saying it undermines peace, national unity, and the constitutional right to participate in political activities peacefully. The incident occurred outside SK St. Stephen's Cathedral in Kisumu during a church service attended by Siaya Governor James Orengo and Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. Meanwhile, the NPS said 6 people were arrested in Nyahururu after a group disrupted a political rally by pelting stones, leaving several people injured, and the service also dismissed reports circulating online that Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata's driver was shot, maintaining that no shooting occurred. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has assured Kenyans of adequate security before, during, and after the 2027 general election, saying the government will not tolerate insecurity. Speaking in Mumias, Kakamega County, Murkomen said all leaders are free to conduct political activities anywhere in the country without intimidation. He also assured residents that all Kalau by-election will be free, fair, and secure, warning that anyone involved in violence will face the law.
Tunapoenda uchaguzi ujao, tutakuwa waadilifu sana kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wanalindwa. Nimesikitishwa sana kwamba kuna viongozi ambao sasa bado wanaeneza chuki. Tumeona huko Olkalau kulikuwa na viongozi wa opposition na wa opposition wenyewe pia. Yaani wako wote wanasema wako united opposition. Lakini mmoja wa opposition anaambia mwingine wa opposition usikanyage Olkalau. Mimi nataka kusema ya kwamba hakuna sehemu ya Kenya imetengwa kwa chama fulani ama siasa fulani. Tutahakikisha Olkalau by elections tarehe 16 itaenda vizuri, na tutahakikisha Kenya mwaka kesho itakuwa na uchaguzi wa amani na utulivu.
The CS further pledged to intensify the crackdown on criminal gangs in Western Kenya, particularly in Kakamega County.
42 brothers, 47 brothers, kuangaisha familia, kuangaisha wamama, watu waendi biashara zao kwa njia inayofaa. The same gangs ndio wanaiba ng'ombe. Mimi nimewaambia county security team they must be very firm. Ambapo wanasiasa walipigana mbele ya mazishi, watu wakapigwa mpaka mtu mwingine pia akakufa. Alafu tena hiyo familia yenye walikuwa wanazika, I think it was a former chief or something, wakawaachwa na mwili. Wanasiasa wamekwenda na gunzi yao wameondoka. That is not acceptable. And I therefore call upon the county commissioner and the county security team. You must not relent in fighting gangs and goons in Kakamega and any part of this country. Wacha ni blamiwe mimi kwa kukua ngumu.
Murkomen also criticized opposition leaders, accusing them of engaging in divisive and disrespectful politics.
Watu wazima ambao ni viongozi wanapandikisha rais majina mabaya. Alafu watoto wetu wakienda shule, unapata mtoto mdogo anaita mtoto mwingine kasongo. Unapata mwingine anaita mtoto majina mabaya. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu wamejifunza kwa ile tabia sisi viongozi tumeelekeza. Unapata watoto wetu wakiona maandamano wanachoma vitu ya watu, maduka. Unapata wanafunzi kwa shule wanachoma mabweni, wanachoma madarasa. Kwa sababu tumeonyesha very bad example to our children.
And Amnesty International Kenya has urged the IEBC or DPP and the EACC to investigate alleged electoral offences ahead of the All-Kalau by-election this Thursday. In a statement, the organization cited claims of voter bribery through the distribution of cash, mattresses, gas cylinders and food, as well as the alleged use of government projects to influence voters. It also raised concern over claims that chiefs and other administrators are participating in campaigns contrary to electoral laws. Amnesty further condemned rising political violence, citing an attack on a DCP campaign vehicle in Gilgil, and called for a legal action against those involved in bribery, intimidation or violence regardless of their position. The organization also urged the IEBC to ensure the by-election is conducted in a safe and credible environment, saying a postponement should be considered if the required standards are not met. And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
.9 Spice FM, Mombasa.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption, because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Members of parliament, they go to settle, they just promised they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did parliament pass?
If anything happened to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Baba should disown these experts and they say they went there on the, because he keep on telling us that these experts just you came from Dubai and you found them there already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
A very good morning to you on this 13th day of July. It's Monday and it's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock, and this is the Situation Room. And we start into our conversations today. A reminder that our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook and on X. And a very good morning to our audience on KTN this morning as we get into our conversations for this hour. Now, even before we get into what we're powering up, Bomba.
Bomba letu, ukuaji wetu.
Exactly.
Right? Now, every day behind the scenes, someone is making sure that the economy of this country is moving forward. You get literally like from one point to the other, right? This person has been in the country since independence. It has been there in making sure that you're able to move fuel from point A to point B. Talk about Kenya Pipeline Company. Now it is KPC PLC because now it's a limited company. But what they've done is they've been pushing petroleum products from the port of Mombasa to the lakeside city of Kisumu and all the way to Uganda. That speaks about integration that the region has been looking forward to for a very long time. Now they are managing over 1,700 kilometers of pipes that is able to transfer these from one point to the other. And they're telling you that aside from just pushing fuel, they also have a foundation, and the foundation makes sure that smart children go to school and they're able to come back into the economy and push it even forward. So it is not just about using fuel to push the economy forward, but also bright minds that will come back and plug into the economy and push it forward. So KPC, bomba letu, ukuaji wetu.
Exactly.
Bomba letu tulisema ni nini? Storage. So those are like tanks. Ukuaji wetu is?
Our rights.
Growth.
Our growth. By Tuesday, it will be growth.
It will be growth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
It has the right to grow.
You see? I was on the right path.
Tradition, yeah.
Exactly. Ooh, this Kiswahili will crack it.
Sijali.
But bomba.
Yeah. Bomba.
Okay. So the weekend that we come from has awoken us to certain realities, and we're going to talk about it, whether it is uncomfortable or not. Because if we do not, it's one of the ways in which we allow certain things to take root and then continue to grow. Game Plan 2027, of course, is a conversation that we have every Monday and sometimes even into the week. But then today we're going to be looking into campaigns, attacks and negotiations. Stella Agara is a governance and security expert, and she joins us, analyst, and she joins us this morning in the Situation Room. Stella, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and thank you very much for having me.
Karibu sana. Before we get into this conversation this morning, Dennis has taken us to a different African country this week.
So this country, major language is Arabic, but they also have one that is called Baba. It is written as Berber. Berber.
Berber.
Trust Dennis.
Try for real.
She understands what it is, I meant, yeah. But it's also a country that has oil, right? Sweet crude that is easy to process. And we're in Libya. Talk about Libya, you think of Muammar Gaddafi and what the country was. You talk about education, an economy that was working, healthcare that was working. You get out of school, no employment, but there's still a stipend that you continue to have. His push was that of having a united Africa with a single currency that pushes the continent forward. Unfortunately, he was taken out. Libya has never recovered since 2011. But let's go to the proverb that we get this morning, even as Javas Bigambo walks in. Karibu sana. Right? If you have me, you show me. If you don't share me, you don't have me. How would you interpret that? What are we talking about? If you have me, you share me. If you don't share me, you don't have me.
I think it's just the thinking that whatever resources we have available, it's extremely important that we responsibly share them with each other. And the truth is that if we don't have some resources, we will have nothing to consume. And the Swahili normally say, kama hatuna hatuli, kama tunayo twajifundira. Like if we have plenty, we will eat and eat in plenty. We'll abuse the meal. But if we don't have, we have nothing. I think it speaks a lot to most of Africa concerning some of the resources that we don't have across the board, but we can share with each other. And unfortunately, we've done a very bad job of sharing those resources. We are doing a better job of sharing them with outsiders than we are sharing them locally.
Yeah. Javas Bigambo, karibu sana.
Asante.
How would you interpret our proverb? If you have me, you share me. If you don't share me, you don't have me.
Well, there are very many lenses or prisms of perspective that I could afford that interpretation. I am an African. And in Africa, we believe in community and that sharing is caring. But basically, I think it is an elevated perspective of the greater sense that is derived from the joy of community, sharing moments, because moments create memories. And that's just who we are, the essence of humanity. Yeah.
The essence of humanity. Very interesting. Okay, well, we've come off of a weekend that I don't think is in the doubt in anybody's mind that should not have unfurled in the manner in which it did. And if it points to anything, then it's interesting because we had a couple of calls on Friday and a gentleman called in, an elderly gentleman, and he said, you know what? It's going to be bad, folks, so you need to saddle up and gear for a very, very terrible, next couple of months. If this is anything to go by, then it's not a good situation. And that was even before this happened. And I would be interested to pick his brain this morning in terms of what he's feeling after the weekend has come and gone. But what we did see in Kisumu and Nyahururu yesterday, I don't know what adjective to quite apply to it. However, we'd like to hear your thoughts in terms of what direction are we talking about now. Game Plan 2027. It seems as though the modus operandi is to try to shut folks down with violence, and that will, win the race. Stella?
Let me start from Dennis's proverb. If you have peace, you share it. If you do not share peace, you will not have it. You definitely will not have it. I think I've been in this studio before and I predicted that the trends that had started of violence around the elections, intolerance for rallies, intolerance for even a conversation, the pronouncements that politicians have been making were definitely a sign that the 2027 elections were going to be problematic. I had also warned very early that this is definitely going to, first of all, sideline the women of this country before it sidelines anybody else. Because the first group that you send away is the group that is averse to violence. And then the next group that is going to follow is a group of younger voters who don't necessarily want to engage in I don't have good words to call it for now, but basically a battle of thoraxes in the country. And I think this weekend is just an escalation of a matter that will continue if we don't do something about it. I'm also troubled by the fact that there's a bit of gaslighting from the government. I don't know why a Kenyan on the street is complaining about violence, electoral violence, and talking about peace and how we should maintain it. And then the Cabinet Secretary for Interior is also complaining about violence and accusing someone for it. And then the PS is also talking about violence and accusing someone for it. I imagine that citizens can complain, and they should complain because they have paid taxes in order for someone to provide security. They have also ceded power to a government to protect them and protect their property. And so they can complain, they can wallow about it. But the person who is receiving these taxes, who is sitting in office to provide this security, cannot be found complaining with the rest of the citizens. So the question I'm asking is, and I've had several names being mentioned, people being accused of organizing the violence. I don't know why they have not been arrested. I don't know why nothing has been done to them. The CS cannot be complaining about these people committing those crimes, and yet there's no police action to arrest these people. The other thing that I'm deeply concerned about is the fact that even without the arrests, we are seeing people brandishing uniform weapons. You know, when violence is spontaneous, people come with what they have at home.
Stone.
So, for example, you will not have standard rungus. The Maasais have a unique rungu. Luos have a unique rungu. How is it that we have standard rungus being used in the situation? In the year 2007, the current MP for Budalangi was in a bit of trouble around the election because his brother and some two gentlemen were found driving a vehicle registered in his name, and he had the same rungus we are seeing today, and machetes and some Somali knives in the vehicle. He was not even found in the vehicle, but he had to be presented to the police, and he had to record a statement, and the vehicle was impounded for some days. Well, I'm lost for words why he's in office today after that event. But the bottom line is that possibly he found a way to defend himself because he was not the one who was driving the vehicle. However, at least then, we saw some action from the Independent Electoral Commission. We saw some action from the police, the arrested. Today, the police are on the same side as the rungu brandishing people. It would be difficult to convince anyone that the state is not involved in this kind of violence. And the question I'm asking myself is this really where we want to take our nation? Is this really the direction we want to take as a people? Are we not forewarned after what we saw in the year 2007 about where this could lead to? We have neighbors who have been in conflict for a very, very long time. And one of the things that we have been celebrating as a nation, even when we were with our dictator of dictators, Moi, is that we were saying Kenya has continued to be a sea, rather than an island of peace in a sea of violence. Is it that we haven't seen enough from our neighbors to know that we should treasure the peace that we have? And the question again that I have today, this morning, for our politicians is it that bad? Do you truly have to take politics and by all means, including allowing for everybody to die and blood to be shed all over? I think we must ask ourselves very difficult questions.
I mean, Jeffers, today as we sit in this studio, we're just from a very difficult weekend where we saw what happened in what would be a peaceful rally that was ongoing well, gunshots, a driver to a governor, rubber bullets on the chest. You look at what happened in Kisumu, and one asks the question, where is the government? Where is the police as the people who've been given the power to have all the weapons, to have monopoly of violence, to protect property and human life? Like Stella is saying, government is complaining together with Wananchi, which shouldn't be the case, because that speaks to individuals who do not know their job and shouldn't be there to start with. Why the lull? Why the silence?
You ask the question, where is the government? I think I would invert it. Where is our sanity as a people? Where is our sanity? Because we seem to be riding on the crest of our savageness and blind to the realities of the humaneness that perpetuate community, which makes progress possible. And I read somewhere, and we're coming from the weekend, in the scripture that since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. And so it seems with our political kingdom. Now, of course, in scripture does not necessarily mean the violence that is propagated by weaponry. But I think when we appreciate the history of our times, even former times, we on this part of the globe, the southern part, particularly Africa, and here in Kenya in particular, we have made politics extremely, yes, competitive, fearsome, and a matter of do or die, as though our own individual lives depend on it, so much that people are willing to put anything on the line to achieve their ends in politics, whether they are aligned to government or opposition, etc. Now, look, the logics of predation, elite control, and thuggery in the bosom of ethnic politics is driving our politics today. Look, every by-election in this country has had high stakes. Cases of violence reported. Yes, we have seen complaints and early warning about cases of violence, but we believe in a constitutional democracy that we are under the rule of law. Now, you ask, where is government? We have got institutions in place, Dennis. We have got the IEBC. We have got the Elections Offences Act, the IEBC Act itself. We have got the Electoral Code of Conduct. And when you look at the wholesomeness of the Electoral Code of Conduct, IEBC has got all the powers through its committee to subpoena any person, any political party, even government, to avail whether it's documents, any material evidence that can be helpful in investigations so that persons who are culpable can be brought to book. When you also appreciate the import of Article 157 of the Constitution, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, where power to prosecute is vested, is supposed to exercise the mandate of that office for public good. Now, these are the institutions that are supposed to act out for the benefit of the people. Just recently, we had the CS for Interior, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, in fact warning, and that's the officials indicating that even as we head to the election of 2027, any persons that will be found culpable on matters incitement, occasioning violence, will be brought to book. And in fact, just a minute, in fact, he even called out Honorable Rigathi Gachagua and said that even him is not above the law, and any person, whether government side or any person, will be held to account. And of course, we even had these supporters and friends indicating that if government dares do that, then they will know why is it that chicken do not have teeth.
They do actually, but okay.
Yeah. Now you see, that is the kind of impunity.
Just a joke. Sorry.
The kind of impunity in which we live. That some politicians think that because they are overzealous about the control they have in particular areas and regions, and for me, I've in fact, Dennis, here in this studio, on this seat, I have castigated Rigathi Gachagua for the kind of politics he's continued to play. I've called him out for who he is, an overzealous tribal bigot, and a village tyrant who thinks that the country should kowtow to him just because of the control that he has on Mount Kenya.
One still asks the question. IEBC, IPOA, ODPP, and police operate in an ecosystem in a country called Kenya.
Correct.
That even when we do have elections, the police and the government is still mandated to ensure that life and property is protected.
Correct.
Whilst IEBC will get into investigations with regard to the Election Act, the government still has the responsibility of making sure that citizens and property is protected. And I ask the question, where is the government in assuring Kenyans that regardless of whether it's an election, whether IEBC is doing their part, whether ODPP is doing their part, that they are protecting life and property?
Now, Dennis, I think there is a lapse here in consideration of issues where we think government and all these other public institutions are different. All these are government. Now, we have got institutions that are supposed to act and work independently, are supposed to work as such because they are financed by the exchequer. We do not expect to have IEBC looking over its shoulders before it acts, or the ODPP, or IPOA. Now, what we need actually right now, and I agree with Stella in some part of her sentiments, we expect independent, thorough investigations by the police, by IPOA, by the DCI. We've got all these agencies properly facilitated. We expect IBC not just to speak from the rooftops, making warnings about possible cancellation or postponement of the elections in by-elections in Olkalau. We want them to take action. We look at the Register of Political Parties. The issue of looking at the conduct, the regulation of political parties, whether it's during by-elections or not, it is a duty that is due to that office. So, government includes all these entities.
So is the IEBC failing by not doing what we think should be done? And I'll give you an example. You mentioned by-elections that have been violent. The last by-elections that took place between October 2025 and February this year were laced, not just laced, they were marked by violence. Magarini, Malaba, Mbere North, where interestingly enough, IEBC commissioners were present at polling stations while these things were happening, contrary to their own directive that you must vote and go home. Now, if they see these things happening under the cover of daylight, why wouldn't they act? And so if they have not, have they failed?
Now, IEBC should live up to the mandate that it has.
Have they failed if they don't act?
We expect it to act better than it's doing today.
Have they failed if they haven't?
IEBC is not doing exactly that which is supposed to be done. To that extent, they are failing.
Okay.
To that extent, they are failing to live up to the mandate that the law bestows upon them.
Now, let me ask the next question. It is coming in rapid succession because these are yes or no's, Javas. Here's a picture on the Star, right? There's a group of individuals. Well, actually, and in front of them, they're wielding these weapons that Stella has. What did you call them? Uniform weapons. Right. They have them. Rungus, some have bow and arrows. And in front of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 officers in uniform, kind of just looking at them. Now, that's the question Dennis asks. Why wouldn't you round up these fellas, tie them up, put them in a corner and say, okay, no, you guys, we're not going to do this today? Why wouldn't you do that? And so who do you hold responsible when you're looking in the face of violence like this and you do nothing about it?
Nduh, all of us must be incensed at those photos. All of us. In fact, this morning, and as we are looking at all the news emerging from the events of the weekend, the Inspector General of Police must respond to all these issues and take action. Why is it that the IG of Police is not acting in these circumstances? That is the duty of the Inspector General of Police. Now, the other thing is this. That's why I said earlier, Dennis, that we expect thorough investigations. We expect accountability. The IG must be held to account on these happenings. The other thing is this. This issue is not just about government alone. And that's why I asked, where is our sanity? When ordinary citizens, some of them on payrolls, for example, of politicians, young people that are jobless being taken advantage of by certain politicians. It's about ourselves too. Our democracy faces an existential threat when members within the society, whether police officers, whether civilians, whether activists, engage in acts or omissions that subvert the cause of justice, the cause of liberal democracy, the perpetuation of independent institutions, and the integrity of those institutions. And so I think from where I sit, Nduh, I would say that we expect better of ourselves, we expect better of public institutions, we expect better of institutions even that are not government aligned. And the blame today, if you ask me, you mentioned even Mbere. We saw some key political figures in Mbere who were even engaging in acts of violence and intimidation. No action has been taken against them. The blame squarely falls and the responsibility on the police and the IEBC to take action.
Okay. Stella, even as we go to break, sorry. We talk about expectation. A child is born, you expect that by the time they are out of the womb, they can suckle. They're doing that expectation. If it doesn't happen, something. They get to 3-4 months, we expect some teeth to start popping up. By the time they get to 8 to 9 months, we expect them to crawl. By the time they get to a year, we expect them to walk. If they are not doing any of these things, what do? We bring in an intervention, isn't it? Okay. On the expectation that police should arrest criminals, because I think I'm tired of them being called goons. Criminals. The expectation that the individuals for whom it has been made public by those who, can you imagine, you pay somebody money to do a violent act and they even come and say, yes, it was this guy who paid us to do it. The individuals have not been arrested. One of the most famous cases of an individual who was not directly involved in violence was Felician Kabuga, who recently died in a prison. They looked for him for years. They did not see him in the streets of Rwanda actually putting his hand to someone's neck. But he said that he financed a lot of this. And so he was a person of interest. Now, with these expectations that seem to be dashed against the rock by Javas's admission, what do you do when the expectation is unmet and we continue to spiral into this dark abyss?
I think, you must have heard me giggling a lot while my friend Javas was speaking. Javas has been my friend for very many years, and this man is a brilliant man. And I think it's the brains that sometimes allow him to play the games that he plays with English when he cannot defend the position he finds himself in. And I think the beauty of it is that he, possibly because of his foundation, he struggles to depart truly from the truth. So he must find a way to pivot around the truth even as he's running away from it. The question of who is responsible for arresting is not a question Kenyans are asking. The question of who is responsible for calling out errant politician is not a question Kenyans are asking. The question of who is supposed to be prosecuting is not a question Kenyans are asking. As a matter of fact, those are all questions that Kenyans answered in their constitution. They voted for that constitution. It was promulgated, and therefore we should be abiding by that constitution. Anybody who does not abide by that constitution, there are mechanisms to actually deal with those people. If it is not happening, it then means there's a problem in the system. And that problem is what I think the crux of our conversation is supposed to be about today. Javas did mention the good book, and he was quoting Matthew 11:12. That says, since the times of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. The violence described in that verse is the violence of the gap. People who can use language effectively to convince people and influence people into joining or leaving a camp. So the only violence we should be seeing, if that is the word we should go by, is people going to rallies, Dennis, having conversations with Kenyans, telling Kenyans, this is what I will do for you, this is what I'm going to make sure I stop, vote for me. That is the only violence we should be seeing. Unfortunately, we are seeing different forms of violence and people sponsoring the procurement of different kinds of weapons to be used to intimidate people on the ground. The fact that we have politicians making pronouncements and the National Cohesion and Integrity Commission has not summoned any of them to go and answer is an indictment on the commission. The fact that we have policemen on the same side, and I'm glad that there are images to support this, on the same side as goons. Javas will not tell you, but I'll tell you this without fear or prejudice, that the state is definitely involved. There is no way the police can be on the same side as people who are brandishing weapons unless they're together with them. We've seen the media sometimes even falling in the hands of the police just because they were in the wrong place sometimes. So it is impossible for you to be around them with a weapon and they don't know you. That one is for sure. As a matter of fact, if you ask some of the people who live in the informal settlements in Nairobi, they will tell you that a young man will be arrested for loitering. You could very easily be released after that arrest. But if you're found with a weapon, a knife, a penknife, whatever it is, you're going to be locked up. They know it themselves. So if you can be locked up for having a penknife in Nairobi, what is it that is acceptable about you having a bow and arrow in Kisumu? For the record, my people, Dennis, the Luos, don't use bows and arrows. They don't.
You were saying this earlier.
They do not. So if you see them with bows and arrows, it definitely means these have been supplied by a different force. I'm not saying they could not be Luos. They could be. But then those weapons have been supplied by somebody else, and that person did not take time enough to think and cover their plan effectively by making sure that the weapons in their hands are the ones they use.
In this area.
All know, my people, the Luos, are Mawe people. We are so good with the Mawe, we don't need to use anything else to send a projectile. So for me, we must speak to the matter on the table. The state has observed, let me not call it the state, the government has observed that it is not popular. The citizens have been demanding for the government to do certain things, and they are not willing to do those things. And so they have decided that they're going to manufacture opposition for the... Does this make sense? Opposition for the opposition. You know? So that when the opposition is on the ground, they don't get to execute their agenda, because every time they execute their agenda, it is glaring that the government does not have the support of the people. It would have been easier, Nduh. It would have been much easier than this for the government to just say, you know what, Kenyans have said they want 1, 2, 3. Can we promise this and then tell them this one we cannot do because we need these kinds of resources and we don't have them available, and start working? Even Kenyans would understand that there's goodwill. For now, for as long as the government continues to operate as if they don't have the means to arrest people, they're not even able to call each other to order for the things that they're not doing. Indeed, we have discussed in this very studio that when IEBC is conducting elections, they sit with ORPP in the same room. They sit with tertiary education institutions and other education institutions to confirm the qualification of candidates. They sit with the police. They sit with every single agency responsible for elections, including the judiciary, to discuss matters elections, so that they can look at the entire continuum of elections, all the way to disciplinary and to the point where it gets to litigation in court, to discuss what happens when things go wrong. So the IBC does not even need to beg the police to arrest.
Surely.
They just need to announce, and we need to know that they have publicly asked the police to arrest. Then we'll go back to the IG and say, why haven't you arrested? And the IBC has asked you to arrest. Have you seen any action from anybody? Everyone who is in this government is complicit, and the person that they have put on the altar to be sacrificed is a citizen of Kenya. And Kenyans are telling them, you know what? We want peace. We will vote. We are able to and they've been saying this when they go for protests. We are peaceful. They have been saying this when they come out. They don't come out with weapons. They come out with the flag. Now they're saying, okay, fine. We are not even participating in this. You're still causing violence around us. We don't come with weapons. You bring people with weapons. So somebody is not listening to Kenyans, and they have decided they will manufacture popularity by ensuring that they make the opposition look like it's unpopular. Unfortunately, this is the age when data speaks louder than any other action that you take. And so they can't manufacture this. We must ask ourselves the question of, what do you do with individuals who cannot serve their purposes? If the president is serious about safety in this country and protection of the citizens, he should get the people in that Ministry of Interior to go home. This is an indictment on a man who has gone through political leadership programs where he even signed covenants to be faithful
to the Constitution.
Murkomen went through the political leadership and governance program. You sign a covenant at the end of the training that you will be faithful as a leader when you get elected. Murkomen is a man who campaigned in a very, very volatile area. And as a matter of fact, there was a period when he was in trouble because there were conflicts in his area. The group, the alumni of that class were the ones who were campaigning for him on the ground and protecting him. Today, he has forgotten, and he's now participating in politicking around the questions of peace in this country. This is irresponsible of this government. But beyond irresponsible, it is a sign of extreme incompetence. Because if they do not know what is going to shake the ground under their feet, then I'm certain that they do not know what they are bargaining for with this game that they are playing. And I suspect, I dare say, that they actually don't know where the line is drawn on this. If you hand over a good constitution to people who did not believe in it, to people who did not even believe in the processes that Craig La, Kofi Annan, etc. were working on, then this is the result that you get. Unfortunately, we even find ourselves on the Kofi Annan Index for 2026-2027, recently published, and it's basically saying that Kenya has a high possibility of having violence. That at 88, I think 81.4%, and moderate violence 75.4%. Number 12, after going through all the processes we have gone through, setting up systems, we are ranking in terms of systems. We just refuse to make those systems work because we have madmen running the nation.
We're going to take a break at that point and come back. I think just real quick, we'll come back. Jarvis, it's you up next when we do that. And I just hold on to that because I know that you want to respond. We're having this conversation whereby violence rocks. It seems that's what we're looking at today, and that madness of a nation. And unfortunately, that's what's right on the headlines. Attacks condemned. Should we be having those conversations? We'll be back with more after this.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, let's take a quick look at what's happening on the roads this morning. On the Thika Superhighway, we'd seen that had started much earlier, and that continues as we get into traffic hour proper now. It's heavy coming in all the way to the city, and on Kiambu Road as well. We're seeing quite some traffic, a number of lanes that perhaps we shouldn't be dealing with right now, but we are all the same as you come round towards Muthaiga Square. CBD, very busy this morning. And as you come off of Langata Road, there's some traffic there that's going to feed into Aerodrome and then on to Uhuru Highway this morning. Ngong Road is busy. A little bit of traffic coming off of Raila Odinga Way. And we look northwards and there's still traffic coming in Embakasi, in and outbound traffic. And then Cabanas will get a touch of that. Outer Ring on the loop as you get towards North Airport Road and out towards Cabanas as well. Still busy. All right. Okay, take a look at all of this and try to keep things moving. SpiceFM KEONX hashtag The Situation Room.
Every day behind the scenes, Kenya Pipeline Company PLC keeps Kenya moving. Now operating as a public listed company, KPC PLC is built to support national development and energy security. From the Port of Mombasa to East Africa, KPC PLC powers transport, storage and distribution of all petroleum products. And through KPC Foundation, it continues to uplift communities across Kenya. KPC PLC, now a public listed company, fueling progress for Kenya.
Turn up the heat with endless entertainment on Star Times. Feel every moment of the action as the biggest leagues reach their thrilling finales. Recharge your monthly subscription to unlock a world of endless drama to enjoy Novella E, now available on your Nyota bouquet. Dive into blockbuster movies with the launch of TNT, your new home of big screen hits. And for the little ones, a world of non-stop fun on Cartoon Network, now on Star Times. News, sports, drama, movies, kids, and reality all in one place. All for you. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a Star Times decoder at any of our deal shops countrywide. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversations continue this morning at 14 minutes to 8 o'clock. And of course, looking at Game Plan 2027. But it seems that now we can't talk about Game Plan 27 because all of this is happening in the meantime. And perhaps Stella's warning as we went to the break is something. Is it not, Jarvis?
Stella has got clear optical lenses on some issues just as much as myself.
Okay.
On issues of governance and politics and democracy in this country and on the continent. Now, the issue of violence that is being manifested is something that all of us are condemning. Even Honorable C.S. Kipchumba Murkomen has condemned vehemently, spoken against it, and in fact indicated that government is sternly going to take action against any individual who is going to be a perpetrator of violence in the country now and even moving into the election. The issue about the indicator in the Kofi Annan report. Now, look, nearly after every election since 2007, every Western democracy has billed our election as potentially violent. And we've shamed them. Because violence is not our character. Just a few elements who occasion this violence for their own personal interest. And in fact, let me tell you, by the grace of He who created us, I am sure that 2027 we are going to have very peaceful elections. The thing is this: when we say that we expect the rule of law, sobriety, to lead us even as we transition in these present times of the current constitution, what we're witnessing even in Olkalau, are we not seeing even legislators like Senator Methu, who was sponsored and elected on UDA, campaigning for DCP, contrary even to our own laws and regulations on matters of principles of political parties and affiliation to political parties? Why are we not calling such individuals out? Just 3 days ago or so, we saw the DCP leader, Rigathi Gachagua, issuing a stern warning to the governor of Muranga and telling him not to set foot in Olkalau. A day later, we are seeing the affront in Nyandarua. And in fact, on the orders and warning of Rigathi Gachagua, they never set foot in Olkalau. I mean, this ethnic warlordship is what we must also condemn, because it is a barometer, an indicator of what lies ahead about the characters of certain politicians who think that they are playing God in the control of regions in our politics. It is itself an existential threat. And that's why when we condemn, we must not be partially condemnative of that which we feel is ill, and then we absorb like a sponge to water that which we find that we can be okay with. So we must call out all these ills. The thing about, for example, the bows and arrows and the wooden batons. Look, of course, it is improper that people should carry weapons whenever we are having campaigns.
It's criminal. We can just call it that.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
And even when you look at the code of conduct, electoral code of conduct, from regulation 10 all the way to 20, actually to 19, IBC can, in fact, when it has sufficient evidence, recommend prosecution of certain individuals to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Now, when you walk across all the hardwares across town in Nairobi, across villages and hamlets, there are all these wooden batons. They are not owned by government, these hardwares. It is individuals who go there and procure these wooden batons, etc. We must condemn politicians who are sponsoring and forming groups that are terrorizing citizens across the country. Secondly, like I lamented a little earlier, it is also important that expeditiously the IG of police moves swiftly to investigate and apprehend individuals who have been caught on camera carrying all these weapons, including bows and arrows and all these wooden batons. This is what we expect. Now, my relative Stella here has called out CS Murkomen. But CS Murkomen, sincerely, on record, and you can play it, has come out, even including last Sunday, yesterday, to issue stern warnings, guided and directed, and they are properly coordinating the issue of ensuring security across all parts of the country, and including the elections that are going to take place.
Stern warning to whom?
Of course, to every citizen, to all culprits, to all because it is the ministry that is in charge of security and coordination of the same.
Have we seen that people have acted or stopped behaving badly based on stern warnings?
You see, behavior, character, morality as we all know it, cannot be codified successfully. While laws can there to stop people from acting in anomalous ways, abnormal ways, or out of context, I think also there is the place of sanity that is individual to respect the law. Because look, when the law is there,
we can just do this like human beings, whereby it's very clear that if there's something that's happening that is wrong, that is criminal, that is against the law, the expectation, that word that you've liked to use today, the expectation is that those who abrogate it should then be arrested.
Correct.
Period. Not warning, condemning, all of this. It's been happening for too long, and it's not yielded.
And you remember
the
situation in Kehumbu a few weeks ago, where one person lost their life.
Actually, two died.
actually 2 later on, and a number of persons injured. We've seen that a couple of individuals have been apprehended and to be arraigned in court on the same, on the charges related to the same. We must all condemn acts of violence. Isn't it not curious, for example, where we sit even this morning, that somebody like Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka have not even condemned the violence in Nyahururu and even in Kisumu? After Rigathi Gachagua himself warned an opposition faction from going to Olkalau, is he not a party possibly that could be behind some of these happenings?
Could it?
Now, it's possible because of territoriality of political parties and the political interests in this country, as we have seen over time.
One then asks the question, Stella, in everything that Javas has said, and I want to focus on the police. The Interior Ministry is the well-resourced institution in this country based off the budget policy statement that we see today. What is actually the Act of Parliament? It is a well-resourced institution that is mandated to take care of Kenyan security. Now, Inspector General of Police, you have requested and urged him to come out and ensure that all these things are happening. We have one of the best intelligence in this country that have been able to foil terrorist attacks.
In the region and even in the continent.
Thank you, even in the continent. Am I wrong to say that intelligence of this country knows exactly what is happening in these regions? That this information is shared with the highest office in the land because he is the number one consumer of intelligence in the country. Because why? He chairs the National Security Council. That when everything else is happening, we cannot sit here and ask the Interior IG of Police to act. He knows his job. If we have to urge the man to work, he doesn't need to be in that office. If we have to sit here and ask every other person to investigate, they need to leave that office because there is nothing they are doing to assure Wananchi that they are working. Am I wrong to think like that?
Let me start by saying you're not wrong to think like that. After I say that, I want to disabuse us of this idea of gaslighting Kenyans. We really must stop. Kenyans cannot vote, pay hefty taxes, assign, not assign, but cede power to government to do certain jobs, and then you still come back and ask them to behave themselves. It is not 55 million Kenyans who are on the streets fighting. It's a handful of them. We know what criminals, where criminals are supposed to be. We know what is supposed to be happening to criminals. Number one. Number two, as Javas was speaking, I kept on remembering a funny song. There's a Nigerian comedian who keeps on playing a song that says marriage is a barbed wire. And the reason why that song was playing in my head is because I am just thinking of the barbed wire that keeps on showing up early in the morning on the days of protests. I don't think the police instruct themselves to put that barbed wire on the streets of Nairobi. I don't think they instruct themselves on stopping Kenyans from protesting, because if they were to act by the law, they know they should not stop Kenyans who have given them notices of protest from protesting. They know. So what am I saying? That Javas is not going to say in this room. There is interference with the police. Assuming you saw nothing else. You know, we've seen IG Kanja before these days that we've been, like, at least before the last 6 months. So we know the difference between a bold IG and an IG who is under siege. We know a man who's under the influence of something. And the truth is, I don't even know what is currently influencing him. But I know there are too many hands that are tugging and pulling.
Because otherwise we wouldn't have these gentlemen.
Otherwise we wouldn't be having this.
Of criminals.
Yes. Number one. Number two, before this matter became as sensitive as it is now, there was a day he said he does not know who those people who are wielding batons are. And then when he got a bit of a shaking here and there, he actually stopped talking about it. These days he just stands quietly, as if he's not the IG. What am I saying? I am saying that the police do not have the independence that Javas rightly claims they should be having as they execute their duties. If they did, they would not be moving on the same side with people who have weapons, number one. Number two, they would not also be allowing themselves to be accused this much. Do you think that the IG does not want to have a good record? He's about to retire. Do you think he wants to leave a legacy of claims that he was incompetent after his entire career? This is a man who's under siege. I can't claim like Rigathi Gachagua that I know what kind of siege that the IG is in, but he's under siege. The other question I'm asking myself, why or what is it that is influencing their actions that they're so afraid of that they cannot do their job? Because the Constitution guarantees their independence. Nobody can fire the IG if he decides to arrest those people today. As a matter of fact, if he even attempts to expose and say who they are, nobody can stop him. Nobody can tell him anything. Why is he not going against those forces to do what he needs to do for Kenyans? The CS for Interior is my target today in this conversation, because I know a time when Matiang'i was in the same ministry, and I remember a lady called Yvonne Afsositi, we all know her, she makes beautiful dresses, African dresses, was attacked on the Eastern Bypass. And she was with her babies in the cars and she was really shaken and everything. And she wrote her story, I think, on Facebook or something, somewhere, social media. She wrote the story on a day like today. She accounts that she received a phone call from Matiang'i himself. And within no time, the gangs that were attacking people on the Eastern Bypass were dealt with. Our cabinet secretary had the time to call a citizen. I've not even seen Matiang'i wearing too many African outfits, so I don't think it's because he was his client. He was Yvonne's client. He just chose to act on the matter because Kenya needs to be safe for businessmen. It needs to be safe for women. It needs to be safe for children. It needs to be safe for the youth of this country. It needs to be safe for everyone. That anybody who does not want to comply with the Constitution needs to be dealt with. So if a CS could call a business lady who just makes beautiful bespoke outfits for people, why not call the IG and find out from the IG what is going wrong and come back and tell Kenyans this is why the IG cannot arrest those people? All right? If not, then tell us who these people brandishing batons are. Because this row of people who are in Kisumu yesterday, where is it? Kisumu, yes? Kisumu. Yesterday. They were not far. If there are people who are looking at those images, there are people who know that is my brother, that is my cousin. So is the government of Kenya saying that with a powerful national intelligence system, they have no capacity to know who those people are? Yet they were able to trace every single Gen Z who was on the street and abduct them and go and interrogate them and then release them. What are we saying? Why are we playing these games with the lives of Kenya? Why are we playing these games with a nation that has taken so long to bring to this place? And the question I asked that I'm going to keep asking is, what is this about this politics that is so big that we're willing to finish this nation in the process of trying to achieve political power? Honestly, we are completely out of order. The buck stops at the CS for Interior. If the matter was feeding and farming, we would not even be mentioning Interior CS.
But since it's
the last time we were here discussing disasters and water and the floods in Nairobi, we did not mention his name because it was not his responsibility. Today, the assignment, anything that happens in this country concerning security, the buck stops at his desk. He and his peers should be the ones answering to us why the system is not working. Nobody is being reprimanded. We have not seen anybody being arrested and no action is being taken. Yet, we all know that there is someone instigating this violence. Citizens don't organize in that uniform manner. They do not. This is not spontaneous. Do not tell me that the opposition is facing opposition from their strongholds. For heaven's sake, Kisumu is fighting. No.
But you see, Nduh, let's face it. Whenever government has taken stand action, there has also been lamentations. Now, look, agreeably, there is choreographed and coordinated effort to mudsling the PS for Interior, Dr. Raymond Omolo, and CS for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, when they actually taken stand action and properly superintending matters security and coordination of government business in the country. The issue about investigating and apprehension or apprehending individuals who are involved in all these skirmishes, we have said that we actually rightfully expect the police to conduct this business as quick as possible. The thing is this: let us have institutions and give them time to do their work, because they are best placed to do their work than us. The other thing is this: we must actually not try to push our nation to the cliff in the name of politics. Politicians and what they're doing in the do or die, trying to ensure that they win a seat and not lose it. Because look, for DCP, they think that because they don't have even any legislature in parliament, they think that this is a question of making a point. Let us make our politics sober, accommodating, so that, as Stella says, women, young people, etc., should find it easy to campaign, to go to the polls and vote, and be sure that actually their votes will be counted and it will matter. Okay. That's the kind of democracy that we expect. That's the kind of democracy I'm sure that's going to survive in this country.
The conversation continues, and it still needs to be pushed. But this is where we call it quits at this time, for us to continue to look into some of these things, because they're serious. They are dire. If we don't deal with them, who knows what we're staring into. Stella Gara, governance and security analyst, Javas Bigambo, political strategist. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Asante Sana.
Thank you.
Sheila Tambur up next with the news. Thank you very much.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tambor. The IEBC says preparation for Thursday's All-Kalau parliamentary by-election are in the final stages. The commission has completed training for polling station supervisors, while training of election clerks is ongoing. IEBC chairperson Erastus Ethekon has, however, warned that the poll could be postponed or cancelled if insecurity, violence and electoral malpractice persist. Said the commission will take firm action, including disqualifying candidates found to have violated electoral laws. The warning comes as the IEBC prepares to decide whether the by-election will proceed as scheduled, following reports of violence and voter bribery during the campaign period. Meanwhile, Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat has assured residents of adequate security, saying officers have been deployed to maintain law and order. Siaya Governor James Orengo has accused the government of sponsoring the violence that erupted outside ACK St. Stephen's Cathedral in Kisumu on Sunday. Orengo, who had attended a church service alongside Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and other leaders of the Linda Mwananchi movement, claimed the attack was planned by Interior PS Raymond Omolo and leaders linked to the Linda Ground faction. He further alleged that the violence was carried out with the approval of President William Ruto, saying leaders who sponsor attacks on places of worship are unfit to lead. Orengo also warned that rising political violence is pushing the country in a dangerous direction. His remarks were echoed by Senator Edwin Sifuna.
If you want to go to Haiti, Haiti is here. And the violence and the audacity of the violence, the way it is being perpetrated, organized and carried out, has got the hand of the state in it.
Nobody looking at the pictures that have come out of Kisumu today, or indeed in Nyahururu, can be proud of such a country that you have people just brandishing weapons and walking and marching in the streets to go and attack a congregation in church. I mean, this is the lowest I think we have sunk.
And Kenyans living in South Korea have called on the government to include voter registration and national ID services in future outreach programs. The appeal follows a 3-day consular exercise by the Kenya Embassy in Seoul that allowed citizens to access services without traveling to the embassy. Members of the Kenyan community said expanding ID and voter registration services would enable more Kenyans abroad to participate in future elections. And that's the newswire. I'm Sheila Tambor.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
SRC's mandate is constitutional. It's not an advice. It's actually something you must do.
Must do. Like now you abandon, of course, the narrative of Wheelbarrow, Mutomjengo, Mamamboga, and all those, that rosy narrative.
Your expenditure is 3.3 trillion, and you're collecting only 2.5. Out of that 2.5, you're spending 1.8 trillion to service loans and so forth.
That the CDF kit, it's in itself a symptom of corruption.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Baba should disown these experts and say they went there on the because he keep on telling us that these experts just you came from Dubai and you found them there already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it. If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
I am also a publicly elected official.
Okay.
My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 9 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we continue our conversations this morning. And we're going into another one. We're going to look at all Kalau. But before we do that, Bomba. By the time you get to I will be able to tell you what happens after Bomba.
Yes, exactly. But now, you see, every time we've talked about the economy, right? But let's talk about regional integration. Now, regional integration is where, say, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania want to work together. But let's talk about how KPC is making that possible, where KPC is Kenya Pipeline Company. So KPC is in the business of moving product here being fuel products from the port of Mombasa all the way to the lakeside city of Kisumu and all the way to Uganda. Why? Because it is important as well for Uganda's economy to move, and the only way that is possible is because Kenya has access to a port that then opens up to the rest of the world. Right. Uganda is landlocked, one would say. We are able to supply them with this fuel, you know. So talk about integration and how these two countries are working together in making sure that the economies of these both countries do move forward. So KPC is managing over 1,700 kilometers of pipe that is moving this product, and this is manned by qualified engineers, state-of-the-art machinery that ensures that this is possible. But aside from just moving product as well, there is the fact that they are investing back into the community by taking smart children within our communities to school so that they're able to come back and plug into the community. So KPC is telling you that if you want more information on what it is they do, how they make sure the economy moves, you go to www.kpc.co.ke. Remember, KPC is KPC PLCY because now it is publicly owned. Kenya Pipeline, bomba letu ukwaji wetu.
Bomba letu ukwaji yetu.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. Let's see what happens then. And our conversations now continue this morning. And joining us in the hot seat this morning is Wakili Evans Ogada. Good morning, Wakili.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Could be better. The mood is dampened, of course, by the headlines we see today. It's a sorrowful day for the country. And nonetheless, we must soldier on.
This is true. And forms part of our conversation this morning as we get into it. We're going to be looking at this big by-election that has brought a lot of this in. And even before we do that, as you know, we go through proverbs that we've come from a different African country every week. Dennis will tell you where we are this week.
Yeah, we are in Libya. 90% of the country is Sahara Desert pretty much. And what that means is water, zero. But they are blessed with amazing sweet crude that is easy to process. And if you look at what that did prior to Libya and making it be one of the model democracies that one would look at in terms of economy, when Muammar Gaddafi took power, and fuel in the country was cheap, was affordable, but water was expensive. Why? Because they spent much more to clean up water that they got from the sea to be able to supply to the people. I remember at the time when Muammar Gaddafi opened the water and people were swimming and enjoying the water because it was made available to them. But look at Libya today because of politics. Look at Libya today. And one asks, in a country where education, healthcare, services were available to the people, how did we lose focus to a point where today Libya is just a shell of its former self? Perhaps a lot to learn. But the proverb we equally get from Libya: if you have me, you share me. If you don't share me, you don't have me. How would you interpret it?
Wow. You can only give what you have. If you don't have it, you cannot have the capacity to have people share in that vacuum space. Yes.
Well said. Well interpreted.
Very well said. By-election, we already know why by-elections happen in this country according to the Constitution. One of them is happening in 24 to 36 hours, the 15th of July. And the run-up to this has been quite interesting. And the IEBC has been called in. Many said has already been an indictment on how the IEBC is operating and how it will operate into the future, and what it's said about politicians and what their plan is moving into the next election, the general election, which happens in 2027. But if there are any lessons to learn from Okoh, even before that by-election takes place, from where you sit, if you were to give a general overview of what has happened so far, especially where the IEBC is concerned, what would that be?
Well, if Okoh and the instances we're seeing in the country are anything to go by, it stands as an indictment on the IEBC, and not only the IEBC, but the gentlemen and ladies who are currently in charge of the security of this country. The election has three phases. There's the pre-phase, the election phase, and the post-phase. So in the lead up to 2027, Okoh and all these mini elections serve as a test for the pre-phase. And you can see the problems, the challenges we are facing. I mean, look at the violence that has been meted out on the streets of Okoh. Yesterday, brazenly, something that we had not seen before in Kisumu, young men walking, carrying bows and arrows in broad daylight. Was it at 11 in the morning?
Yep.
And if we are to look at the assessment of preparedness for the IEBC during the pre-phase, then the IEBC stands indicted, because the IEBC has the power to summon anyone to ask questions in terms of readiness. What are you doing to handle the security issues in the lead up to election? And we I don't know. I was reading somewhere that the Kofi Annan Foundation has raised concerns about the phase we are in.
Yes.
Almost 20 short years ago, Kenya was on the brink, and it appears that those lessons were never learned. And those lessons should remain ever vivid for us, particularly for Mr. Ethicon, who is now in charge of the IEBC. it looks bad. And we need sobriety in the lead up to next year.
I mean, okay, when you look at the election, it's a process. We won't say that election is something that you wake up one day and voila, it's in there. IEBC has been in there training. IEBC is there and looking at policies, looking at the laws that governs them, the powers that the Constitution gives them during an electoral process. And we look at also the coordination between IEBC and the police, and IEBC even having power to ask the police to go and investigate. Yet we're sitting here and all we are hearing is, we are warning, we are warning, we are warning, we will act. Are these individuals who really do understand their work and their job, the job they've been given to ensure that the elections of our country, free, fair, credible, and verifiable?
This is perhaps the sad tragedy of having lackeys and court poets in critical offices. And Article 249 of the Constitution, any commissioner and certainly the IBC chair are properly equipped in terms of constitutional authority to perform their mandate under Article 88 of the Constitution. Now, when you come to the public and appear as helpless, as incapable of doing anything, then we start asking questions. And the consequences of inaction or the kind of sorry rhetoric we are hearing from the IEBC, and I'm looking at your standard newspaper today, I'm seeing the images from yesterday in Kisumu. These are building grounds for a repeat of 2007. And not even the IEBC will be spared. You will be held accountable for your commissions and omissions. You have the authority in law. If you look at Article 88 of the Constitution, not Article 88, but Article 84 of the Constitution, the Electoral Code of Conduct is a very important document, a derivative of the Constitution, that empowers the IEBC to take certain drastic measures on all persons involved in elections. So it is not enough for us, for the IEBC to cherry pick certain easy candidates in Olkalau and punish them, then forget the bigger picture. So, for example, we saw Olkalau being the beneficiary of gas cylinders, mattresses. What else did we see?
Boats.
Boats. So you ask
water pipes and
water pipes. And the question goes to Ethicon, and he's a lawyer. If you look at the Political Offences Act and you read, is it Section 9 of that Act, it talks of bribery. What is bribery? We have an entire act dedicated to what bribery is, the Bribery Act. Section 5, 6, and 7 tell us what bribery is and the context in which a bribe is deemed to have been offered or received. So the law is there, but what is Ethicon and his commissioners doing? In addition to that, we have certain pending issues, and I don't envy the position of this commission at all. We have certain audit queries that still remain pending. We have the KPMG audit from last elections cycle, where certain problems were identified with the ICT component of the election. Has Ethicon come back to us and informed the public that these are the remedial measures we have taken in terms of redressing these problems? To the best of my knowledge, that has not happened. So it is a perception problem, and the perception will make the Ethicon Commission suffer the same fate that people before him have suffered. I think the last IEBC that enjoyed some semblance of confidence was the Kivuitu-Mukele axis in 2002. That is the last time IEBC enjoyed public confidence. Subsequent to that, IEBC has been seen as a manipulated, corrupt institution, and going by what we are seeing now, that image has not been shed.
Because, okay, you've mentioned something that is very critical, I think, in the conversation, where the chair IEBC is not just any other citizen out here. This one is a law student of the law who understands what the law says.
Yes.
I would be forgiven to look at the Election Act and not read that together with other chapters of the Constitution, because I'm not a law student.
Yes.
But they do understand what the law says and what it is that they must do. That we're not seeing these actions being taken then. I conclude that they are knowingly taking us through this uncomfortable ride because they understand the law. They know exactly what they should do, but choose not to do it.
And it is a sad state of affairs. And the chair IBC should remember the words of the Kriegler report. The Kriegler report stands out as a historical account of the madness that politicians almost caused in this country, pushing us almost to the brink in 2007. The IBC was equally indicted for opaque processes, processes that were aberrantly unlawful, processes that did not enjoy public confidence. Ethicon and his people should know that the currency they trade with the public is public trust. The perception that the public has with the IBC, that is what will inform confidence or lack thereof. And we are seeing the inaction and the hopelessness with which the IBC is operating as feeding what we are seeing on the streets. Because a year to the election, and you see the images out of Kisumu, and generally this is feeding to the general crime and lawlessness we're seeing in the country. Yesterday I was seeing some video of a lady who was seated out in a salon somewhere, and she is mugged outside the salon. And we have seen various videos of the instances of crime that have become the norm as a result of this phenomenon called goonship, which is thuggery, for the lack of a better term. And these are things that Ethicon should call to order. He needs to sit down with the other lawyers. And this involves my good friend, the CS for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen.
Who's a lawyer too?
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he used to be a CU chairperson somewhere. And he's usually a reasonable person.
I'm grappling with something. I don't quite understand. Because we talk about it all the time. There is a constitution. There are agencies and institutions that are tasked with the responsibility of holding the constitution in their different respects. So the IEBC, a constitutional commission, which is tasked with the responsibility of conducting free, fair, and seen to be free, fair elections, right? And all of that. So if something is going wrong, why is it so difficult to not just call it out, but put an end to it? And that question can be applied across board. If there is something going wrong with security, if there are criminals amok, the video that you gave reference to, that people have become so comfortable. I mean, the guy was holding a gun in broad daylight outside of a shop where there were people walking along the road.
Yes.
If it has been clear that this is the law and this is how we follow it, then the probability of such a gentleman, and I wouldn't call him a gentleman, of a criminal doing what he was doing yesterday then reduces significantly.
Yes.
So why is it so difficult to call things out and act on them? Interior security, internal security, IEBC. look at the headlines. There are fake drugs on sale. People who are living with HIV are ingesting expired drugs, and somebody's still in office. Why is it so difficult to deal with these things?
I think we are dealing with human beings who either are berserk, have degenerated into lunatics, or are simply overwhelmed by the largesse of power, that they have become so selfish that I don't care if the other person lives or dies, so long as I have what makes me comfortable, that I'm okay. And I'll need to remind these individuals that you have your relatives here, you have your children here, you have built houses, and whatever money that you think you have, some of it is here. You will not be safe when this country burns. And the lessons of 2007 are still with us. And that is why I was saying, for example, Kipchumba Murkomen used to be a lecturer, the thing I'm doing currently. And he knows the importance of the strength of the state. The state and government are different things. The state remains. Government come and go, but the state remains. State institutions must remain strong. Today he is in charge of security. Just like Matiang'i was powerful, breathing brimstone and fire in that docket. Tomorrow you are gone. If the country collapses under your watch, as a lawyer, he knows very well that you will be one of the prime targets for investigation and possible prosecution by international criminal mechanisms. So it is important for them to remember that you may disregard the law because it is convenient for you today. You may undermine institutions. Ethicon and his people might play the favoritism card they are being accused of. You may look the other eye because Irongo Kangata's driver has been shot and he doesn't belong to, quote unquote, to the status quo. That will come to bite you. And the history is here with us. We have history from other parts of the world where small cumulative, quote unquote, small cumulative instances like this boiled over and led to the collapse of the state. So whatever they are doing, they need to ensure that apparatus of state remain active, remain strong, remain efficient, and operate according to the law.
Okay, we are approaching 2027 elections, and the IEBC has been given an opportunity, according to me, to fix whatever else needs to be fixed through the by-elections that have happened. Yet you look at how IEBC has held all the by-elections, and questions are being raised on their capacity to handle the elections in 2027. Why? Because the election is not just a day's event. It is enshrined behind laws that govern how it is played. As we approach 2027, Kenyans are asking, how do we trust IEBC that it is able to deliver an election as prescribed by the Constitution? Where that trust lacks, what does it mean to elections of 2027?
IEBC as an EMB, an election management body, is required under international law and domestic constitutional law and legislative instruments to be impartial. Impartiality on its part hinges on a number of measures, and certainly Article 81 of the Constitution gives us parameters that the IEBC must focus on in terms of its preparedness. So Article 81 says this, that any election must be free from violence, intimidation, improper influence, and corruption. Number two, it must be conducted by an independent body. I'll look at those two. Violence, already we have problems on the street. What is Ethicon doing? Intimidation. We saw these videos of hooded people commandeering and intercepting a DCP caravan on the way to Olkalau. And that is despite the fact that Justice Thande Mogore, sitting in Malindi, and other judges, the Kisumu High Court, making it very clear that even if you're the police, you need not to cover your face.
Yes.
Ethicon has not seen it right to call out this, because he's a lawyer, number one. And these actions by certain police officers are going against declarations of the court. So already we are seeing grounds being set up for a violation of Article 81, violence. Look at the independence of the IBC. The independence is not only actual, but it's perception. What are Kenyans increasingly looking at in terms of the conduct of the IBC? We are seeing an IBC that is pussyfooting, an IBC that speaks from both sides of the mouth, huffing and puffing. For heck, apart from Ethicon, who we see once in a while giving us the PR, where are the rest of the commissioners? Because you see, Ethicon is just primus inter pares, one amongst equals. And those commissioners are going to be collectively responsible and individually responsible. So they need to remember that there are certain things that they need to do in the lead up to the election. I spoke of the KPMG audit. We have not been given an audit of the mass with the mass failure of the BVR kits. Has anyone, have the political players been taken through an audit of those kits again?
No, we just want to buy new ones.
Yeah, we are thinking of buying new ones so that people get their cuts.
Yeah.
and when the country boils over, when people are killing each other, these people will have their choppers to fly out of the country. Look at the decision by the Supreme Court. Some of us were not so confident with what the court said, but it gave certain recommendations in terms of the last election. Has the IBC followed through to see that those recommendations have been put in place? So we are basically going to an election with an IBC that is limping, an IBC that is not enjoying confidence. And I beseech Ethicon, wherever he is, Murkomen, you are in charge of security. And of course, I'll not leave out Professor Kithure Kindiki, another lawyer. Those lawyers I'll not spare. You know what is coming. If you don't sit down and calm your nerves, if you don't allow the good officers, the good police officers, leave alone these rogue ones that you're using, to do their work as required by law, this country is going to burn. And it will burn with your relatives, it will burn with your friends, it will burn with your children.
Let's take a break, because there's something that you've gotten onto that I want to ask questions about, that it's likely that there are some police officers who actually know they're worth their mettle and they know the work that they should be doing. Allow those guys to be out in the street to round up all this nonsense, and perhaps we'd see a different outcome. Let's go into that in just a little bit. It's 25 minutes to 9 o'clock. Wakili Evans Ogada is here with us this morning, and we're looking at Olkalau. Lessons to be learned. That by-election happens on the 15th of July, and perhaps a lot of bodies could learn a thing or two from all of this. Our conversations continue when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, still pretty busy coming off of Thika Superhighway. That traffic then seeps out through towards the Globe Cinema roundabout, coming on to Murang'a Road and then into the CBD. Kirinyaga Road will get quite some of that as you try to get into the middle of the city this morning as well. And it's still pretty busy coming off of Kiambu Road today. And Ring Road Westlands, as the usual traffic that we'll see. Let's take a quick look at Mombasa Road, where there's traffic just past Capital Centre out towards Uhuru Highway is very busy. And the traffic coming off of Langata Road this morning then goes on to Raila Odinga Way. and crossing over towards that junction with Ngong Road. Some of that will go towards Awings Kodek and then out towards Valley Road, so that's busy this morning. And then look at Embakasi, that area coming out of North Airport Road, very busy traffic this morning. North Airport Road is bumper to bumper and right on to Outer Ring. Inbound traffic on Outer Ring as well, busy. Still traffic hour. Let's see what happens as we come through it. We'll talk, keep things moving. SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag the Situation Room.
Tired of missing out? Want to stay ahead of the curve? Get the facts, the full story, and the truth all in one place with the Standard Group's all-in-one app. Watch live TV, listen to podcasts, stream your favorite radio shows, and get breaking news alerts instantly. Plus, access premium content with the Standard Insider and never miss a beat with the Standard e-paper. Read the Standard and the Nairobian anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablets, or laptop. No delay, no clutter, just bold, judged, and factual news on demand. And here's the deal. Get a 4 years e-paper access for only 7,699 shillings. So why wait? Download the Standard app right now from Google Play or Apple App Store, or visit epaper.standardmedia.co.ke to subscribe. The Standard all-in-one app. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
Have you tuned to the best Kalenjin radio today? Berur FM is the leading Kalenjin radio station in the Rift Valley. We are current, trendy, and bold. We bring you bold voices, big conversations, entertainment, and blessings every day. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram for the latest updates and vibes. And don't forget our live stream and YouTube. Berur FM, bold, factual, and resonating voices.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
We're looking at lessons from All Kalau, even before that by-election is had. And Ivan Zogada is here with us this morning. And are they lessons or warning signs even from what we should then be able to look at? And you mentioned something that, you know, the people who are supposed to be establishing and maintaining law and order are actually maybe anybody who could do anything on a rainy day, but the folks who could actually make sure that this be established are not the ones who are being assigned. That the 4 people that we see in this picture, I'm going to keep referencing that because it's really baffling me that how they can be standing looking at these criminals who are wielding these weapons. They are not the folks who then could establish law and order. The people who could are not here. Why are they not being brought out?
Well, I can say this with some confidence that we have very good men and women in our security apparatus. Not all of them are rotten.
Yes.
And I know some considerable investment has been put in training them. What ails us as a country is political interference with the role of these people. And therefore, the buck stops with the politicians and again falls with Kipchumba Murkomen during this time of Kenya's historical progression. The buck also falls with the line commanders of the National Police Service. That is Kanja, Masengeli, Lagat, the DCI guy. I mean,
yes.
You are all responsible because you are expected to be independent and execute your mandate, because no one is above the law. Everyone is equal and should face the law equally. So when we have these faces in Kisumu carrying arrows and bows and walking in the streets this boldly, and nobody will be arrested, the goons that caused mayhem in Olkalau. And this comes in the wake of Senator Osotsi being attacked so brazenly in Kisumu, in the Java, in some mall there. What happened to that case?
They're out of the country.
Yeah.
They escaped.
They escaped.
And this culture of impunity, and that is what I call a shaggy dog story. Hocus pocus, nonsense upon stilts. When these people need to act, you will see them acting. But you see, the problem these people forget is that you are getting a genie out of the bottle. You're not going to put it back. The lessons of 2007 seems to have been lost, and people have gotten too comfortable because these boys that you pay 200, if it goes high, probably 1,000 shillings.
Yep.
And you ask them to go and attack a church because you're not happy with the bishop there who speaks his truth. And shout out to that bishop. I always like him when I see his face. He's one guy who speaks his mind.
Interestingly enough, he's your okay.
He's one of those that speaks his mind, and he says he calls truth power to order. So why would you authorize? And starting point is, where was the OCS, the OCPD, and the regional commander when this was happening in broad daylight?
True.
And then you're going to give us the usual weird story of these people are outside the country, we are still doing our investigations. Come on, boulder dash.
Okay, as we look at elections, again, it's a process. But one thing that has happened in the country is that every other election has ended up at the Supreme Court. And I'll just go through some of the recommendations that have been given since 2013. And let's just go through them. 2013, the court said, improve reliability and testing of election voter identification and results transmission system. Develop stronger contingency plans for technology failures. Now, enhance transparency in vote tallying and result verification. Improve training of election officials in the use of technology and electoral process. Strengthen public confidence through greater openness and accountability in election management. You come to 2017, ensure all election results are verifiable, transparent, and accountable. Strictly comply with the Constitution and electoral laws rather than relying on substantial compliance. There are 8 of them. But if you go to just a summary of the same, these are what appeared to be similar across all the judgments that we see, which include full compliance with the Constitution and electoral law, transparent and verifiable election process, reliable and secure election technology, accurate completion and management of statutory election reforms, and greater transparency in tallying and declaration of results, improved training and preparedness of election officials, and stronger institutional governance within IEBCY so that we do not see the backlash or the misunderstanding within the commission itself. These are all judgments that have been given in 3 separate elections. One asked the question, what is the responsibility of the court then in following up on its recommendations and whether they are being implemented? Because as a court, I don't want to be talking about the same thing after every 5 years on failures that continue existing without being sorted out. What's the responsibility of the court?
There are 2 platforms that the Supreme Court can use to follow up whether its recommendations in previous elections have been adhered to and if anything is happening. We have the National Council of Administration of Justice. That is a multi-sectoral platform where all these arms of government sit, and that should inform follow through in terms of what needs to happen. Then we have the Judicial Election Committee. I don't know who is the chair. Justice Ibrahim was the chair there. I don't know who is the current chair. The Judicial Election Committee should also follow through in terms of those recommendations. And that committee has previously done some good job, led to certain considerable amendments in terms of our election laws. Particularly when Justice Musinga was chair, Justice Maraga, we saw some very good work by that committee. The question is, have those bodies done what they need to do? Certainly from what we see, nothing has happened. And it speaks to the culture that we have in this country. Kriegler report is written because Kriegler had a lot of things to say. These judicial decisions, they are stacked somewhere, gathering dust. When it comes to the next election, people are busy looking for tenders. How am I going to get my cut? And we run perhaps the most costly election in Africa, if not the world.
Yep.
So you ask yourself, with all that money dedicated to running of elections, why are we not getting it right? My good friend and mentor, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, says it's just the culture of bad manners. You cannot legislate in terms of good manners. It is a cultural, ethical question. And it begs the question, what happens to people when they get to public office? Because I look at Kipchumba Murkomen regularly. Murkomen was with us in the courts the other day. And he, for all intents and purposes, he's a good guy. But when he gets to public office, you ask yourself, what happened to the Murkomen we knew and the guy in public office? What is happening? And they know the consequences. They are the lawyers who should pitch for reforms. They are the lawyers who should pitch for the right thing. I remember when they were on the other side, they were saying that they are not going to repeat what had happened before, the kidnappings, the killings, the mismanagement. Now the shoe is on the other side. What's happening?
Is it being sensational that they're talking about cases like this being in isolation because when something is going on? So is it being sensational to call it out now and likening it to what happened in 2007, 2008 in this country? Or is it saying that, okay, well, these are just, just goons. It's just, it could be a politician, running amok with some kind of political ambition, and that you don't need to have your radar up because it's not going to be on more than that. In Okoh, for example, it seems to be now the travel destination for quite a number of politicians as of this weekend, and everybody's landing there. But then the things that you see, and then using this as a litmus test for what could happen later, is it being sensational to say that, you don't want another conflict situation like what happened then, or just treat this as an isolated case?
It is not being sensational at all, and I am aware that we have people who have already spoken of a repeat of 2007 and perhaps on a worse scale. And the evidence is there, because apart from the goon culture that appears to be taking root on a carte blanche, look at the thuggery and the crime that is attendant. We have an institution in this country called the National Crime Center that has a report sitting somewhere that warned several years ago of this habit of thugs, goons being nurtured by politicians. It warned. Who took to heed that advice? Was it Matiang'i during the last election, who as security minister, and he happened to have the benefit of confidential reports that you and I don't have. He warned of the same. The youth and the goons being used, and the people who we are sending to parliament. So these are not sensational at all. The problem is that we have people who go into government and don't know how to run government at all. And they think that being in government is synonymous with being driven in big vehicles, having a coterie of police officers following you through the trappings of power. That is being in government. Government is not run in that manner. And I go back to the IBC. The IBC has three capacities in terms of authority under the law and the constitution that it must use to save the next election. They have the regulatory authority, they have supervisory authority, they have enforcement capacity. Ethicon, and he's a lawyer, he needs to stand up and marshal his commissioners to ensure that these three capacities are brought to bear to save the next election.
Okay, history is a good lesson. Is a part where you look at it and say, I don't want to go back there. It helps you decide your future. But here then we are looking at where it is from, the reports that we do have, court decisions, you look at the constitution of the country, and also just being a good student of environment where we are as a people. But today we're being told that the police, in one way or the other, cannot arrest. Reason why, I do not know. Because I fail to understand how, with the greatest intelligence we have as a country, we cannot be able to stop incidences of violence when they are about to happen. That today it's easy for us to look at a court order and decide. They said that we should not wear balaclavas, we will wear because Nduh. We have the Mutanu culture that we are seeing today. We have our EBC that is a lapdog. It's not saying anything. It's just barking but not biting. And with that then, Wakili, as a people who also participate in these elections, what must we do together to get it right?
Number one, as a people, and starting with these brothers and sisters of mine, because in Keumbu, I also saw women partaking in acts of hooliganism and thuggery. Let us stop being cheapened. 200 shillings, 100 shillings, 500 shillings, 1,000 maximum. That is what is given to you to risk your life carrying bows and arrows to go attack a church. Stop bad habits. Your life is more than the 200 shillings that politician is giving you. If you cheapen yourself to that extent, that is why you, in some parts of this country, whereas Olkalau was lucky to get gas and all the mattresses, in parts of this country, was it in Kisumu the other day that they were haggling about 200 being too low. Some place people are given salt.
Lollipop.
Yeah,
Lollipop.
lollipops.
Yeah?
A string of...
How cheap can you be? So we have to, number one, understand that the office of citizen is important. Stop cheapening yourself. Number two, we need to be constantly following what is happening, particularly with elections. We have a lot of capacity in terms of the law, but the law will do nothing if we don't actively...
You have to activate it.
You have to activate it. Because you see, you are told to engage in public participation. Public participation in terms of the election involves various facets. For example, which citizen has been motivated enough to follow through with the KPMG audit? That is a sitting duck for us. It's the elephant in the room. Who has asked Ethicon about the audit of the BVR kits, the failure, the audit of the entire system? Yet Ethicon is leading us to an election, and come the next general election, within an hour or two of the elections, BVR kits have failed en masse. And then you'll get results that some of us will start saying, these were not from my home area, or results have been doctored. This is the time for you as a citizen to start doing what is right. Now, to those who are sitting in public office, and I mentioned them in no particular order, Ethicon, the lawyer, Murkomen, the lawyer, those sitting in IBC, those in charge of the police service, and I dare add Kithure Kindiki, the deputy president of this country, who is also another lawyer. They should know better. And they know that we are still members of the International Criminal Court. Everything that is happening now, whether we withdraw or not, will be subject of scrutiny by the ICC. Our international partners are watching. This country still needs investment, needs to create job opportunities for our youth, because we have a youth problem. I'm told we are about 58 million now. That number is increasing. You need to create opportunities for these young people. So many companies are laying off people. If you continue running the country in this knee-jerk manner, this country will boil. And we have historical precedents. Go to Haiti, go to CAR, Central African Republic, go to Rwanda before 94. And even the rhetoric, because some of these people in positions of cabinet secretary speak as if they are still politicians. You need to be measured in terms of what you say, because your tongues are inflaming issues. When you hear people like Ruku and the rest speaking, they just stamp a lot. You need to be measured in how you speak. Be quiet. This one's in charge of police and security matters. And particularly, I also single out this spokesman of theirs. Always very careless in terms of the releases they get out there. Please respect the country, respect your office. You are not the first there. You are not going to be the last. Are you going to be the one that tanks the country? Is the country going to sink under your watch?
So even as we ask these questions, then Kenya goes, well, the by-election happens in a couple of days, and that we did hear maybe the IEBC flexing his muscle a little bit the other day and saying, you must stop this, of fining certain individuals a certain amount of money. Does that cut it? Is that enough to send out an alarm?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. And you've had several actors question the impartiality of the IEBC, because they're asking, fine, you are going for this one particular MP, but what happens to the big honchos in government? What happens to the security officers? Because some of the things they have done or not done are serious enough under the Election Code, Article 84. And some of the things that have been done are seriously offenses under the Bribery Act, under the Election Offences Act. What is Ethicon doing? So the IEBC needs to pull up its socks. And I don't know, Gabriel Mukele, a very decent old man, is still alive and somewhere in Kakamega. Ethicon needs to sit down with Gabriel Mukele. And he needs to talk to Gabriel Mukele to give him some lessons on how to run the IEBC.
It sounds like he might be having a bit of a pickle of a moment, because here you are having come from a defunct IEBC where half the commissioners, trotted off, others, whatever. And then an election then was questioned. And then so you've come in, and then there's already something that you're trying to prove that we can actually do this. And then no sooner than you say Bob's your uncle, the whole thing has tanked, and then people are indicting you before you've had a chance to, start. Could it be that the team is struggling under the expectation and now needs a minute to actually show its might? No?
How long have they been in office?
We're getting to a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear it's too long.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you feel that the seat is too hot, get out of the kitchen.
Okay.
So there will be no excuse for the IBC and certainly its chair that things, we were still learning on the ropes, we're still getting, we need to be sure-footed as goats. That will not help us. If you are not confident, if you feel that it's too hot, get out. The responsibility to conduct the elections in a free, fair, transparent manner lies with the IEBC. They have the capacity in law. The problem is perception. They may tell us that we are doing A, B, C, D. If you do not work with the public and the public trusts the process, then all that you're doing will result to naught. Yes.
Even Sugada, thank you for joining us this morning. I think there have been warnings in addition to the lessons, and perhaps that's what we need to keep talking about before it gets to a place that is now unmanageable.
And as a lawyer, it will be remiss of me not to go out of here without reminding everyone, because this will come to pass, that no one is above the law, no man is below it, nor do we ask any man's permission when we ask him to obey it. That is Theodore Roosevelt. So all of you who are exercising the reins of office today, remember that.
Asante sana. Evan Sugada has been with us this morning. Good morning at 9 a.m.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. ODM party leader Oburu Oginga says the party will not field or endorse a presidential candidate in the 2027 general election, but will instead support President William Ruto's re-election bid. Speaking in Homa Bay, Oburu said the decision is intended to strengthen the broad-based government and ensure the Nyanza region continues to benefit from national development projects. He added that ODM will enter a structured agreement with the government to align its policies and actively participate in implementing the administration's agenda.
Ruto is leading ODA, Oburu is leading ODM. Though the difference is that in this coalition which we are negotiating, we already know that ODM this time around we are not fielding a candidate. So we are going to support William Samoei Ruto for the second term. But as we move to support him in his second term, we must go there in a structured manner, negotiating and knowing what we are going to get as ODM.
Kotu Secretary General Francis Atoli has accused Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna of attempting to divide the Mulembe community politically. Speaking in Lurambi, Kakamega County, Atoli alleged that former President Uhuru Kenyatta is financing Sifuna's political activities and those of the Linda Mwananchi group. He also accused Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya of being part of efforts to split Western Kenya's votes. Atoli, however, maintained that such attempts will not succeed, citing his influence in the region.
Watu wengine wametumwa na wengine, na sisi tunawajua, na uwezi kuja kugawa jamii yetu kwa ajili wewe umetumwa. Mimi nataka kuambia nyinyi, na mimi nataka kuambia nyinyi, kuna Buhungu 3, Buhungu 3 inakuja tarehe 26 mwezi wa 12 Disemba hapa Buhungu. Ukitaka kutembea Western, tembea kati ya sasa na tarehe 26. Baada ya tarehe 26 huu mkoa tutafunga. Sisi tutafunga.
Meanwhile, Siaya Governor James Orengo has criticized leaders who donate large sums of money during empowerment fundraisers, alleging that some of the funds may come from public resources. Speaking in Kisumu, Orengo questioned the source of the donation, saying the amounts given by some leaders do not match their known incomes.
We must begin asking questions about this display of ostentation and opulence, of money being carried in sacks and contributed in empowerment programs and projects. This money does not belong to the people who carry this money. This money belongs to you. We know what a cabinet secretary earns. We know what a PS earns. We know what a governor earns.
He warned leaders against using public funds for political influence, saying such actions could lead to corruption charges if proven.
I can tell them they will answer questions in future about this money they're contributing. I represented a lot of people last year who money, and when the new government came in place, there were being questions about the sources of those money. I was at anti-corruption every day. So I ask you that you be very careful about this money. We should ask the source of that money. The people of this state.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje, kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
that bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Members of parliament, they go to settle, they just promised they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did parliament pass?
If anything happened to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same
and the
National
Senate,
Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
This is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody is human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
I am also a publicly elected official.
Okay.
My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 9:10 and our conversations continue, but this time we're having our conversations with you. Before we do that,
yes,
bomba.
Mambo ni bomba. But now let me tell you about this bomba that is our growth, where ukuaji wetu is our growth. Now, As you go about your business this morning, you are stuck in traffic. Perhaps you're leaving the country. You're going to enjoy summer. You know, it's really hot in Europe right now. You want to go enjoy that. There is one product that will make that possible. That is petroleum product. You are in your border, unapiga hustle. You are running your taxi hailing app. You are moving product from Mombasa to the rest of the country, or even beyond Kenya, Uganda, DR, Congo to Rwanda. You depend on petroleum product for that to be able to happen. Now, Kenya Pipeline Company, KPC PLC, is telling you that they have been in this business for a very long time because they're managing over 1,700 kilometers of pipe, right, from the port of Mombasa to the lakeside city of Kisumu that transports fuel all the way to the rest of the region that is specifically in Uganda. Now, they're telling you that despite having this facility that is world-class and it is monitored, a state-of-the-art machinery and a local talent of engineers who are making sure that that happens, they are also investing back into the community by the KPC Foundation that is then taking great talent into school, educating them and having them come back into the community and help push the great job of improving our economy. So KPLC is telling you to know just what exactly we do, how far we go. You go to www.kpc.co.ke because bomba letu ni ukwaji wetu. Yes, bomba letu
ni ukwaji yetu.
Wetu.
It's like that.
Yeah, wetu. You need wetu.
Okay.
Muhimu sana.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Thanks to KPC PLC. Okay, so it's Monday and it's 9 o'clock. So what that means is that we're having a conversation with dear Mr. President, and there really is very little else for us to discuss now but then the state of security in the country and whether it is criminals who are hired by if somebody hires a criminal, is that person a criminal?
001, yes.
Okay. So if you hire a criminal, you too are a criminal. You hire a criminal to perform criminal activities.
You are a criminal.
You then also are a criminal.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have criminals hiring criminals to do particular things in the country, at the moment we see that it actually is quite ugly. That it is to be expected now that when there is a visit in a church or where there is a political rally, that the criminals will show up having been asked to do that with a bit of some monetary persuasion, inducement. The hope is that it wouldn't happen. But unfortunately, we've seen that our hopes have been dashed against the rocks because of what we saw yesterday and what we saw the week before that and what we saw the week before that. And guess what? What we saw the week before? That it has been. So my point being what? That it has been happening with such unwanted regularity that the time for Kenyans to be concerned about that was a while ago.
Yes.
Now things are getting to fever pitch. But the question that we're asking this morning, so if we are going to tell dear Mr. President that Kenyans are worried, but that they are concerned that there's an issue with this goon criminality and that not enough is being done about it. But folks, is it a mirror into what is going to happen in 2027, or are people making a little bit too much noise? That these are isolated incidences, that they've happened with regularity, yes, but it is not a mirror into 2027. The current criminal culture that we see happening in the country around political events and or political decisions such as an election, are they insights into what would happen in 2027, and is there need to be cautious? Is the question that we're asking this morning. Or do you feel as though, dear Mr. President, you got this, it's okay, we just see that there's some random sporadic incidents and we don't have anything to worry about? We actually want to hear from you this morning. We'll tell you what that number is, as Dennis also tells us what he thinks.
Methinks. Based off, because I was around 2007, 2007, there's a lot of rhetoric that was being said and we ignored them. And we said, you know what, we are a peaceful country, elections have come and gone, and we will go through this like every other time. Until we found ourselves deep in the trenches, right? In a very precarious condition and situation that we were forced now to wake up and say, Allah, tumejipata pabaya. with what it is we're seeing right now, right? I shudder to imagine that. Let me take example what happened in Kisumu. For a very long time, people in the region have been known for using two things. Unarusha jiwe na mkono, or you're using something called rujure. You know, like that one.
The one
King
for
David,
Samson,
King David and Goliath. That
yes.
one. It is called rujure in Luo.
Oruju who?
Rujure. Yes. Okay. That is what is known. Now, we're looking at sophisticated weaponry that then you're seeing getting into this space. What does that mean? Apart from what they are well known for, there is additional equipment that they are using today. Now, as we get into the elections, what does it mean when the entire country will be getting into an election and everybody is coming with their supporters and opposition as well? Is this a telltale for what is to come? I say yes. What must we do? We must start dealing with it today. And when we talk about investigations to be carried out, Nduh, if I have seen you in Olkalau, week 1, week 2, with millions of shillings, I, as IEBC, will ask you, where is the source of this money that you are doing what? You are giving. I will start investigations. I will look into your account, whether there are withdrawals or heavy deposits, and ask you, fine, you withdraw this money. How did you spend it? Can you give us receipts to show how you spent this money? In the event where your account has not been touched, there is no heavy deposits, there's no heavy withdrawals. I will ask you, who is the source of the money that you are giving? What have I done? I've started investigations into the source of the money that you're dishing out in All Kalau. What would that do? Anybody else who wants to follow that route will know we are being watched. With that, you have done what? You have, in one way or the other, dealt with illegal and money laundering that we are seeing in these elections, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we also see that in these campaigns, it is one side. If it's one side that is coming to do their campaign, everything is smooth. The other side, when they come in, they are being attacked. I will ask the question, why? I will task the police to investigate. If not doing that, then I am equally part and parcel of the problem. So, thing is, if our EBC today is clearly showing us that they are not able to deal with the problems that do exist, common knowledge on what needs to be done, then how will it be during an electioneering period when all the 290 constituencies, everybody will be there with their, if they are goons, they'll be there with their goons, with their supporters and opposition alike. Will they be able to handle that if they can't handle a single constituency?
Those are the questions, and those form part of the questions that we're asking you this morning as well. Is what we are seeing now a look into 2027? Does it worry you at one point or another that this is what we could be looking into? That does it lean into 2027? Many have warned. The Kofi Annan Foundation did give some percentages of 87% and 79%, and said that Kenya is likely to go the 2007 way for all that we are seeing, if this is anything to go by. Ask the question, if this is anything to go by, is Kenya likely to enter into a state of violence if something is not done? We're taking our calls, rather your calls this morning, and we'll hear from you on 0732 142 650, 0732 142 653. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Onyango from Bondo.
Yes, Onyango, how is Bondo this morning?
We are fine, but not very happy.
Not very happy. Why?
Not very happy about the developments in the country today.
Why is that? And if what we see is happening today, should it be worrisome for 2027?
I'm really a worried man. 2027, really worried. Yeah, what is the government doing now paves the way for doing worse things in 2027. And I believe some of the people who are operating these activities or doing these activities are making our country becoming more and more dangerous in the future. What I've seen in Kalau shows blunt very blunt and deliberate activities which are actually undermining our democracy. Our democracy is at stake, and we cannot have a country where there is one election by-election in a particular constituency, where all government resources, including people we pay with our own tax, going there to campaign for the government of the day. What is so difficult in allowing the peoples of Kalau to decide on the candidate, the person they want to elect them in parliament? Why should the government go there with all sorts of assorted goods, including chickens, some of which I know have died on the way before they reach home of the rescue, including small what this thing we sleep on, the
mattress,
mattress for school going children. Our families, a man and a woman, going to sleep on these small things. Why should they bribe people with such things? And now I believe, and very strongly too, that the government has very low opinion of people who are poor. People are poor, and they want to see that they can give them everything. But after the by-election, they don't give them those things. And the goods you see around, we see the government, people like Gorkomen, Umolo, actually issuing a warning. What does the Constitution say about these activities which are criminal? Which one should come first, warning or arrest? I believe arrest should come first, and warning should actually go to people who are intending to do it.
The arrest would be a warning, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there should be arrest first before we come to the warning. Warning is meant for people who are still intending to do bad things, criminal activities. But you cannot keep on calling the press to tell these people warning every day.
You have a point.
You have a point.
Thank you so much, Onyango.
Going to IEBC, no, Ethicon is not equal to the task. No. It's so biased and so unfair to people. Why should it warn people that he wants to postpone elections? What does the Constitution say? Why should he want to warn people that is going to postpone elections, which has been settled by the Constitution to take place on 16th July? I think it's not equal to the task, or it's not actually interested in doing the task. He wants to please his master. That is what I have to say.
Onyango, thank you very much. Do have a safe day in Bondo today, and keep listening and tuning in and engaging in the conversations. Asante.
I do so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
James from Mungai calls in this morning. Hello, James. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi. How are you doing? This is James. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, James. What are your thoughts? Okay. Are these a warm-up to what we're going to see in 2027?
Let me tell you, next year is worst. I'm worried. It's going to be worst. If this is what we are seeing, we are presiding over a goon republic. Yeah? And it cuts across both sides, the government and the opposition. You get the point? Because the other day, Gasha was telling Linda Onainyi not to go Ulkala. Why? Who are you to tell people not to go there? Yeah, so the government, these people, they are good. They are cultivating this thing called Goonism. They are part of it. We are very worried. I'm sorry. We are very worried.
I hear you, James.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Folks seem to be worried. Let's hear what you have to say. Not to forget, that number is 0732 142653, 0732 142650. Dear Mr. President, seems that Kenyans are worried. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name is Washira and I'm calling from Nairobi. Good morning, Nduh and Dennis.
Good morning, sir. What are your thoughts? Is this a warm-up to 2027?
I'm a worried man. I'm a worried man because they are setting a precedent to show that Kenya is not in a very good state of having elections. I think I was very worried for when IEBC mentioned that they were to postpone their local by-election. That's so it's something that they are premeditating. And if you see the state of the goonism that is happening in this country, the other day we saw during the day, Thika Road was blocked for almost like 2 hours during the day, so people are not even fearing. So what is that? Human beings act in 3 ways, are manifest in 3 ways. One is what called expression, the one is called substitution, and the other one is called reflection. The state of security is in the state of mind. So if I'm not feeling secure in wherever I am, I will always be worried and always be having what call fear. This is what now they are trying to create a narrative so that they can postpone the election. So for me, I'm seeing a bigger picture. Whatever that's happening today is being prepared for 2027 and the postponement of 2027 because people are fearing. That is my good day. That's my comments for the day. Good day.
Thank you very much, Washira. Thanks for calling in this morning. Quite a number of you want to have something to say this morning. Let's take your calls. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Oh, yes, hello, good morning.
Hello, morning, Nduh.
Good morning. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling in from?
I'm Josephat calling you from Narok.
Yes, Josephat.
How are you doing?
Well, all right. What are your thoughts this morning?
Dear Mr. President, I'm worried. I'm one of those people who are very much worried.
Why are you worried? Why are you worried, Josephat?
What is happening in our country, Kenya, ni jambo ambalo linaonekana 2027 it will not be business as usual.
Kwa nini?
If a by-election, just a by-election, imagine a constituency, it is raising tension to the extent that people are dying. What about the general election? You see, like now, this morning I watched somebody, all politicians saying, we have every politician as goons, 50 to 60. And then he said, he went further to say that actually we promise citizens what we cannot deliver, but lying to them so that they can vote for us. So nikajiuliza, this kind of sentiments, this kind of whatever that is happening, surely, are we really taking care of our country? Look at the security sector. I listened to one of our good CS and our good PS in the security sector. When they tell us about politics, is that security? Can't they tell us, we want to do this, we want to do this, we have done this for securing the life and the property? But when he's telling us, you are supposed to do this, this is 2 times, a whole man in security. That means they are not doing what is expected of them. They are doing something else. And they have left now our country to goons. We have seen what happened yesterday. Now, I was asking myself, Gini Kisumu, what walikuwa na arrows, whatever, and the stones, they're just on camera, they are seen, surely.
Yes.
Can they identify those people, 1, 2, 3, and tell them, come here, you had this, this is your face. Who sent you? And what were you doing? What is the aim of you going this way? Mambo itakuwa mzuri, but we are worried because things are just seen openly and nobody's taking action. They are just saying, these things are just like that. Haiti is coming to Kenya. But if it's making from heaven, because unajua saa zingine in the Bible, Pharaoh, God hardened his heart until he fell. If that is the issue, that from heaven, that is okay. I will not be worried because by the way, Israel right now, the Kenyans will be liberated from oppression. Thank you so much.
Josephat, thank you very much for your call this morning. He says they're heading the Haiti way, but if this is going to happen to make sure that things come to a head, then so be it. We're hearing your calls. We're getting them this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and continue with that in a short while. Dear Mr. President, this morning, folks are worried. A worried man, many, has talked about that this morning already, and they're saying if this is anything to go by, 2027 is going to be crazy. They say this. And 2007 was child's play. Not to be alarmist, we're not raising the alarm in that way, but we're hearing what Kenyans have to say. We'll continue with the conversations when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic
All right, let's take a look at what's going on now. Yikes, guys. Whatever is going on North Airport Road this morning is not fun at all. Still a lot of traffic here this morning, and it's taking you in both directions. You're going to speed off. Well, you're not speeding off anywhere, that's for sure, because the traffic is quite something. Inbound traffic then is being affected on Mombasa Road, and it's coming in from Lolongo out then towards that Cabanas area. So that's slow. And then the traffic that's coming in from Embakasi, normally by this time would have dissipated, but it hasn't. So inbound traffic then from North Airport Road heading out towards Outer Ring is crazy. And then around the that Outer Ring loop, as you then get onto Outer Ring or come off of Outer Ring, trying to get then onto North Airport Road, doesn't look pretty at all. So I'm sorry that you have to be stuck in that this morning. Do give us a shout out about what could possibly be happening there. And then there is traffic as you come off of Wangari Maathai Way, coming off of the Thika Superhighway, trying to find your way through towards Westlands and out towards the museums today is slow, bumper to bumper in very many parts. We're still in traffic hour, at least in those areas. Let's see what happens through Monday. SpiceFM KE on X.
Tired of missing out? Want to stay ahead of the curve? Get the facts, the full story, and the truth all in one place with the Standard Group's all-in-one app. Watch live TV, listen to podcasts, stream your favorite radio shows, and get breaking news alerts instantly. Plus, access premium content with the Standard Insider and never miss a beat with the Standard e-paper. Read the Standard and the Nairobian anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablets, or laptop. No delay, no clutter, just bold, judged, and factual news on demand. And here's the deal. Get a full year's e-paper access for only 7,699 shillings. So why wait? Download the Standard app right now from Google Play or Apple App Store, or visit epaper.standardmedia.co.ke to subscribe. The Standard all-in-one app. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, our conversations continue this morning. Dear Mr. President, that's where we are at 27 minutes to 10 o'clock. And is what we see an indication of what could happen in 2027 is a question that we're asking. We're also running a poll today, so take part in that as well. And we're able to sample some of your thoughts on our socials this morning to be part of the conversation and to engage in what a warning should actually be. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm James from Narok.
Yes, James. How are you doing this morning?
Yes, I'm doing well.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts about Kenya today. Yes, as Kenyans, we have to be so worried. Because when you see now, the Kenya as a country has been made like someone business. Because, you see, someone is campaigning. Someone is really campaigning, and he has his all powers to control the country. He's doing his business.
Yes.
Building his own ground instead of controlling. Like my friend there said, that Kama. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that seems to have cut off. We're taking your calls. We can get it back clear and hopefully we can get that back. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name is Eric. I'm calling from Eldoret.
Your name is?
Eric.
Yes, Eric from Eldoret. What are your thoughts this morning? Yes. Are we worried for nothing?
Okay, I think we are blaming the police for not taking any action. And whenever they take action, we blame them again for using excessive force. So, like yesterday in, say, Kisumu, kama polisi wangetumia risasi kupigana na watu, si mungekuwa hapa mkipiga kelele ati polisi imetumia nguvu zaidi.
Watu gani ambao walikuwa na hizo weapons? Oh.
Yes, those were weapons.
Okay.
We have seen police act, but we keep blaming them for nothing. So wameamua tu wacha waone tu ndio mfurahi sasa.
Oh, even though wameona?
Sasa watafanya nini wakijaribu kuchukua hatua? Mtu ako na panga, ako na mshale, ako na mawe. Akitumia bunduki yake mnasema amepiga mtu risasi. Headlines hapa na pale. Lakini sasa hata wanashindwa sasa wa take action ama wasichukua hatua.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think let's be rational.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Asante sana for your call this morning. Let's hear from some others. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
I'm Onesimus Jalmatuivo calling from Kilifi.
Yes, Onesimus from Kilifi. What are your thoughts this morning? Is there something to be worried about?
Yeah, this issue of goons, according to me, it's like goons cannot operate in Kenya without the knowledge of the sitting government.
Okay. What makes you say that?
One thing that the government should know is that Kenyans are a bit intelligent. They are wise. They can get to know what is happening. They can get to know that kama ni hawa goons wakijitokeza, how the police are behaving. It tells clearly that they know, they have a prior knowledge of where the goons are organized from. Two, I've listened to a certain MP, and he says on a national TV, like where he was presenting himself from, that is Citizen. He's saying that each and every politician has goons. Surely. You wonder what kind of a country is this? Because I don't expect to have a leader who can openly say that they have, each and every leader has goons. That means he's telling us even the president has goons, even any other leader has goons. And totally that is wrong. Because if this is what is happening currently, surely, what about by next year? So, with me as a Kenyan citizen, as someone who loves the country, I think we are in the wrong direction, and probably I will say we have the wrong government in place. Because I don't expect we have police. Then we are running another police in the name of goons.
Okay. Well, I hear you, and we hear what you're worried about. But thank you for calling in this morning, Asante Sana.
Okay, thank you.
All right, some more calls. We're taking them this morning, and then we'll be able to sample what you're saying on our socials today. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Habari asubuhi.
Salama kabisa.
Nasa ongea kuhusu mambo ya huyu ni Charles kutoka Siaya.
Charles from Siaya. Yes, tuambie.
Kutoka Siaya. Nilikuwa nasema kuhusu goons. Kitu nashangazwa ni hapa. Unaona polisi ukiangalia clip hiyo ya jana. Hiyo ya Kisumu hiyo. Unaona goons wako pamoja na polisi pamoja. So nashangaa kwa nini polisi hawawezi kutekeleza kazi yao. Kwa sababu mwatakana alinde mwananchi ni huyo polisi. Na huyo polisi ndio ukiona wale watu walikuwa wameshika mishale, rungu, mawe na kadhalika. Polisi walikuwa na escort them. Kwa nini polisi hawakuchukua action? Kushika hata 10 kwa nini kati ya mmoja yao? Au wangechukua nafasi hiyo kwa sababu kitu ilikuwa inaonekana wazi. Wangeshoot hata mtu mmoja. Kwa sababu wasipofanya hivyo au kazi yao ni kuangalia tu ni kama picha. So who is helping who? Sababu tuko chini ya serikali. Na kama hiyo ni vitu inatendeka, hata nyinyi kwa studio hapo mko safe? Hamuko safe? Kwa sababu ukitoka hapo nje, kwa sababu kuna wakati utaenda kwako kwa nyumba. Ukienda kwako kwa nyumba, are you safe? We are not safe. Alafu serikali kazi yao ni kusema mwenye anatengeneza goons ni nani? Rigade. Na Rigade anaweza tengeneza goons Kisumu. Anitatengeneza goons Kakamega, anitatengeneza goons Nairobi. Why are we crying? Let them face the fact. Serikali wa face the fact. Ukweli wa mambo, serikali ingetakana ifanye nini? Ilinde mwananchi. Hapo sisi sasa tutaogopa kwenda kanisani sababu ya goons. Why? And police are there. Where can we run for? Tutakimbia wapi? Tutakimbilia wapi jamii kama polisi wanaangalia tu how face to face na wanawaona. Tukisema ni mapolisi na wanafunika mpaka uso. What can we do?
Indeed. Those are the questions, Charles.
Ni uchungu sana. Asante sana. Huyu baba yao kutoka Siaya.
Asante sana. Yeah, ni uchungu, and he's saying that it actually hurts to think about it.
Yeah.
So one call and then we look into what folks are saying. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Both your names.
I'm called Stanley.
Sorry?
I'm called Stanley.
Yes, Stanley. Where are you calling from this morning?
Rift Valley.
Yes.
You know, we are facing a very big problem in Kenya. Mahali penye tunaelekea is not a good place. Remember, the other day people are walking in arrows on a very broad light in Kisumu. Only Linda Mwananchi, the other opposition people are being fought. But the people in government, they are not being fought. Bandits everywhere, goons everywhere. 2027 is coming. Are we really going to the correct direction? People more common is fears. Walking all around, praising government. Is this what we want in Kenya? To come 2027. Irungu Kangata recently was in government. Yesterday, his driver was being hit with a rubber bullet. Do goons really work with guns with rubber bullets nowadays? We have to see this one.
Yeah.
2027.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Stanley, thank you. Let's take some of, the thoughts on socials this morning, and then just to hear what people have to say on this other side of the spectrum, and then we'll come back and pick some more of your calls. We can see quite a number of those coming in. Dennis?
Leah says, what's happening now is a warm-up to no election, as government claim election can't be a violent environment and declare a curfew or emergency. The regime of the day is scared of its citizenry. Now, tribal lords, that's according to Edwin, who says the situation is too bad. Mr. President is aware, and that's the plan of the government. And here we have Izakala says, watching our electoral management sometimes feels like boarding a plane whose pilots are still arguing over where the runway is. Now, Nduh says, the danger we are in is somebody is injured, robbed, killed, and no one will take responsibility. This will blame that, and that will blame this, and that ends there. Now, Jennifer says, I may not be able to call it, but this is my feedback now. The leaders from the religious sectors have let us down. They should come forward and condemn these heinous acts, and they should not accept the envelope. Smokey MC Bandit says, in fact, one of the major reasons this country continues to be in the problems is the constant comparisons and superimposition of the Bible and those stories on the country and citizens. We have many people who are talking here. Linda Gola, that's a very pedestrian opinion on the last caller. That is one of us one of the listeners who called in. Now, after 2007 and the end of Kibaki's team, how did the main suspects involved end up leading the country 20 years later? That is according to Omega. And Beatrice Odhiambo, someone is very scared to lose next elections. They might even be preparing to cancel it due to insecurity and extend their term in office. John Mureithi, I said the other day, police may never change. We must introduce solutions like legalization of an equivalent of the U.S. Second Amendment law based on our context to avoid such in the future. John Murray, the police are also goons. Stop calling them police versus goons. Now, the irony, of course, is that all Kalau has demonstrated the government efficiency is not impossible, merely electoral. That's according to Isa Kale. And Mtuflani says, we are in big trouble.
Okay, so everybody and their uncle wants to say something this morning because all the calls that were coming in. So let's just see if we can take as many of those as possible. Today, what your thoughts are. It seems as though folks are really concerned about what will happen in 2027. So let's go. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to Dennis.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. My name is Kennedy. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, Kennedy.
And remind you, the last time we spoke, I told you goons, they have a different price tag. So wenye mliona jana, wenye alikuwa na mshale, wenye alikuwa amekaa mbele, hao walikuwa wamelipwa kama 2 hivi ama 3.
The ones with now those uniformed weapons.
Yes.
Yeah. And labda hivyo, those balls were probably not real. They are just to scare. But other batons zilikuwa za ukweli. And I'm really worried because the direction that we are headed is really dangerous. We are treading through dangerous waters. Because even the goons now, najua dakika ya serikali kuwageuka na kuwaita militia, it's not even, they have no idea. Mungiki was there in 2007. It was used by politicians to kurudia hii maneno yenye wanafanya. It's something that is repeating. It's nothing new. It's nothing new in this Kenya, because we saw it in 2007, and the moment they were termed as a militia, very many people died, innocent and non-innocent. So these goons, they may be protected today, but tomorrow it might be something else, because even the same government that they are working alongside policemen, the same government will use the same policemen to kill them. And kwanza unajua goons ana kwake kuzuri, the citizens don't like them, and the politicians also don't like them because they use them for bad things, and they don't want to be associated with them. Now this goon culture, and also now the police themselves are also captured at the moment. They are also acting as goons. They are going around in balaclavas and also in batons. They are also wanahangaisha wananchi. And if we continue like this, basi the reset that we need as a country, basi we will see it in 2027. The reset that we saw in 2007, probably it was Christmas. In 2027, if it continues, the reset that we say tunataka reset, kila mtu sasa aende nyumbani, turudi sasa tujue kama tunataka nchi, it will happen in 2027. And then also, the president that we have never even believed in this constitution. So mukisema ati the president has nothing to say. He has nothing to say because he never even believed in the institution. So that's why you see everyone acting like a fool. Because you cannot tell me like the PS for youth and sport affairs killed someone in its car, and perhaps right now the president has not even spoken about it. You see now that one is coming from the top. Goonism from the top. Everyone is a goon, even in that cabinet.
Okay. We would like to get some thoughts from other Kenyans this morning, but Kennedy, what you've said, I mean, just taking those into consideration for engaging in the conversation. Asante.
Thank you.
All right. We'll hear from others this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Nduh and Aseto.
Good morning, sir.
Karaja Waweru.
Yes, Karaja. Habari ya leo?
Niko salama, but very worried, man.
What's worrying you, Mr. Karaja?
What we have seen in Kisumu, Olkarau, Nyahururu is just a drop in the ocean. This is child play. 2027 would be total war. And my feeling is this. Our president is saying he will take the Samson option. He either gets it all or none gets anything. He leaves the country in bad shape for whoever who is going to take the country. Because we have vested powers on him. Remember when the Gen Zs were on the street, he even used the vifarus on people who were only carrying a bottle of water, a flag, and a phone. These are people with arrows and other crude weapons, and nobody is asking them a question.
Yeah.
So we should be a very, very worried nation. When the president, even after seeing that violence in all those places, has not uttered anything apart from insinuating that the opposition is the one sponsoring these goons. With all the powers vested on the IG, and he himself, he said, we do not give him a sword for cutting Sukuma Wiki. He cannot now mow down these guys who are in Keumbu. They did what they did. Even a person died and the others. So all this rests with the president, and we have seen a sequence in the government. When they say we are going east, don't go east, because they are going west.
I hear
They are always doing the opposite of whatever they are saying. Finally, I would like to, I tried to send a message through 22151. I wanted to answer Bwana Bigambo. The sentence, the words he used on Regade Gashagwa, I think they apply to him more than they apply to Gashagwa. May we pray God Almighty has all the powers, and he is the only one now who can stop these evil plans by this evil government. Thank you.
Karanja, thank you for calling in this morning and for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Asante Sana. All right, let's see if we can get a few more calls in for folks to then be able to say what it is that they think about the situation. Hello, good morning.
Morning to you. My name is Joe Odeng from Kisumu.
Yes, Hi, Joe. Share your thoughts with us this morning. What are you thinking? Is this lights into 2027, or is it just for now?
When I look actually at the whole situation, you are seeing a situation where goons are calling the shots all the day. It's speculated that the police has even joined to be part of the goons. There is an element of negligence of duty, and I don't want to look up to the people at the top. But for the case that happened in Kisumu, the OCS should be arrested by IPOA for negligence of duty. These things were planned. You realize, like, they never just decided just at a moment that they're just going to find themselves in the streets armed to the teeth. And if at all IPOA cannot arrest the OCPD in charge of Kisumu and OCS, what should happen? Members of parliament should converge and allow citizens to take a choice on defending themselves, and everybody should be armed. Is either we negotiate with the goons, or the government takes charge and arrest the OCPD and the OCS for negligence of duty. And that is my take.
All right. Thank you very much for your call this morning, Asante. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name is Muturi. I'm calling from Embu.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Muturi?
My thoughts that I believe that the Minister of Internal Security should up his game and go beyond political boundaries, because this country is greater than any political arrangement. And I believe that we have a life after 2027. Kenya is not only about politics. I think the president should take charge and protect this country, because no matter who be elected as a president, we'll be having a country. We require a country. We have a generation to protect.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts, and I believe that as an elected person, because me, I'm an elected member of county assembly, and not one term, I've been there, and I was elected without a party. We require to have a country. We cannot live like this country is dying tomorrow. So I believe that this country is not only about the Kalenjin, Kikuyus, Ruyas. This country is greater than any tribal line.
Yeah.
So we require not to blame the president, not to blame opposition, for all of us to get to our sense and know that we have a country, and Kenya has been there. Many people sacrificed for this country, and we cannot destroy a country which has built by many years because of a political arrangement.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in this morning and for sharing your thoughts. We'll hear from some others who have a thought to give as well. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name is Musa. I'm calling from Kisumu.
Yes, please share your thoughts this morning.
I just want to put out my concerns.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unfortunate that our president is so hungry for power that he's not even taking charge nor caring about the people losing their lives.
Mm.
And it's threatening because come 2027, this is already a signal that Kenya will ban. We cannot allow this country to go to the dogs. Kenya has come from so far. Kenyans should just wake up. If the government cannot take charge of security, then it's very unfortunate. It is painful to see our brothers and sisters being maimed in broad daylight because of power. How much is enough, Spice? Call it by its name. Let us not entertain this. We must not have Ruto. Ruto has failed. We refuse, we want, he has failed. And people have refused him. And we shall go to the ballot and we shall act. But this security matter should not be taken for granted, for heaven's sake. This is my take.
Thank you. A good one on that one as well. All right, hearing from some more of you. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Sang from Nairobi.
Yes, Sang.
Now, I think my main issue is we have a narcissistic government that turns its blind eye and blames the citizens for the failures they have. Now, we have a government that will blame me for its failures instead of dealing with the failures. Then we cannot go anywhere if we have goons and criminals. Now, criminals, broad daylight, robbing people, criminals working with politicians, speakers of National Assembly and Senate campaigning for the government where they're supposed to be neutral, cabinet secretaries, secretary who blames instead of arresting people. It's sad. It's sad. People have failed in their duties.
Yeah.
We are paying for basically doing nothing. I think it's time for the citizens just to say, enough is enough. And say, no, we are not going to be violent as citizens, but just say enough is enough. We don't want to be like this. If you cannot run, just, resign and go.
Indeed.
We don't have, scarcity of leaders. We do not need politicians. We need leaders. We need people who care about this country. People who they want the betterment of the country. Not people who want to kill us, people who want to maim us, people who want to blame others instead of arresting. If it is Rigathi and they have evidence, just go ahead and arrest. The people who are arrested in Keumbo yesterday, I heard in the news, their files disappeared. I mean, how can that happen? So no one has been held accountable since this government came to place. No one. No one has held the hands. Even the people who have killed others, and we know, none of them has been held accountable. What makes us think that anyone will be held accountable?
Those are the questions that we need to ask.
Yeah, it's very sad. I've now tried to mobilize my community around. Now, not in terms of the tribe, but community, the people I stay around.
Yes, absolutely.
And to tell them we cannot ban our country going to 2027, and everyone should look at their respective places. Just tell them we cannot ban our country. We have to live beyond, because we're living with our neighbors.
Indeed,
we cannot ban our country, and we should disapprove these politicians.
Yes,
and tell them we cannot ban our country. We mobilize our residents association, and tell our people we are not going to do what the government wants us to do. We are going to stay peaceful. and vote and come back home and rest, knowing that we are protecting ourselves. We have no one to protect us, protect ourselves, and just say we are not going to do to kill one another, neighbors.
Indeed.
That's what we can do. And the country will be secure. Because we cannot be controlled by narcissistic individuals who will blame us and gaslight us.
Thank you very much for your thoughts this morning, Sang. And Sang's comment, close it out for us this morning as we started off the week in the Situation Room. There, you've heard it, dear Mr. President. People are feeling that this is not the way to go.
You know, one thing that Sang has said that has stuck out is that when you look at public officers going out there and doing something against the law, they are criminals, because that is a criminal activity.
Indeed. It is. Thank you for being here in the Situation Room this Monday morning. There are more conversations to follow. Be engaged, folks. Good morning. Sugar and Spice comes in at 11 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your listening, and we'll talk again tomorrow, God willing. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.